What's poppin', everybody? Welcome to Culture Pop Season 1, Episode 23. We're back after a week break so I can rearrange, do some remodeling in the house, not have some hammering going on in the background. But we are back to our regular schedule. I have my incredible co-host, El Beardo Magnifico, Aaron Sparrow with me. How are you, brother?
I'm doing really well. I'm still physically exhausted from LA Comic-Con, but I am mentally charged, and I am ready to start laying the smackdown.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be a fun night, but it's gonna be a spicy night. Fun night because we have some special we have a dude, some guy, some douchebag that goes by two names because he's special, returning to the show. But we do have a special guest coming on for the first time, and you know, I think this is the second time, maybe the third. Actually, it's the third stream now that we've had someone that has boobs. So it's really interesting. But yeah, we've got Dolan and Murphey. What's up, y'all? How are you?
Doing great.
So we've got a real life lady on this show.
It's a real girl. Fun
Happy to expose you guys to some tits.
A fun story. And Murphy, I don't know if you know this, but when I was first talking about making the channel, I was having conversations with people. And one of the people that I talked to the most early on was, Max, but Joe Corallo. And I was like, yeah, I need to find some girls to come on and talk like some nerd shit, comic books. And he's like, I bet Murphy would be really good at something like that. And at the time, I hadn't met you yet. So I was like, yeah, okay, cool. Or I did meet you, but it was just like real brief. And then I mentioned it to Aaron one time, and Aaron was like, you should talk to Murphy. I think Murphy would be really good for something like this. So it's only taken 23 episodes, and I haven't even asked you to come on yet, but you're here. So I'm going to count it as a win. But yeah, so we've got Dolan here, who is the writer of comics such as Born of Blood, and more recently that we had the Kickstarter campaign for Unholy Nightmare. Successful campaign. We're celebrating. We've got some original art that we're going to raffle off. And Murphy's here because Murphy was the producer behind all of this. So Murphy, why don't you kind of give us an idea of who you are and what you do, what you did for this campaign?
Yeah, so I'm Murphy. Hi. I am a Kickstarter consultant, designer, more commonly known as the Kickstarter wizard. So this is actually my third campaign that I'm running through my new business called Krowd Control. So I offer, consultation on like how to build your rewards, like what types of covers people on Kickstarter want. And then it's like making your campaign really just like scream what the comic is about on every single thing, every single image, every single piece of text, like everything is all, everything on Unholy Nightmare is you look at it and you kind of get a really good feel of like what the comic is about.
For sure. I will say you're being a little modest by saying this is your third campaign with your new business, but you've done like numerous campaigns for other companies and businesses.
I have worked on, built, managed, ran, fulfilled over 30 Kickstarter campaigns since 2016.
And I will even throw another one out there, another kind of brag on your behalf of even the likes of Eric July's team has commented on how well you run campaigns. And I heard it, this isn't hearsay, I heard it myself from one of their customer service managers at Dallas Fan Expo. So you're a rock star, and we're gonna kind of promote you.
Yeah, Drew like ran over to me to tell me that after that conversation. I was like, oh, cool. Maybe they'll reach out to me. Not yet.
We'll we'll still plug it. We'll slide some ideas in. Before we get started with the night, because we are going to kick off the night with a raffle drawing, and we'll have the raffles kind of sporadically throughout the night. So just stay tuned. But I do want to kind of go through the chat real quick and say some hellos. We've got Raphael Ponce. Sup, Vatos? What's up, Raphael? I feel like I should have said Vatos a little more flavor.
You gotta put the spin on it, man. You gotta be like, "What's up, Vato?"
What's up, Vatos? Hey, man, I have some cervezas in the back.
We're gonna have to work on it, Josh. But
I'm the Tio. I'm the drunk Tio. How about that? I'm the drunk white Tio. I don't care if I win. I'm out. I'm done with this stream. Racist. Decam Egg. Oh, maybe. Watching The Killer. I've heard mixed to not great things about that. I haven't watched it yet.
It's good.
That
it's a slow burn. It's a slow burn. I'll say that.
Fair. Rafi said he is feeling lucky. So, Max says he's ready to get popped or ready to be popped. We don't need to know what you do in your spare time, Max. We've got Cage and Corey in the house. Hey, Josh. Hello, sir. LK. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, dude. We've got the wonderful Vex Electronica. Howdy, chat. Hello, madam. I need to have you back on soon because you are epic and amazing, and I love you.
I just started checking out Vex's channel, and I'm absolutely loving it. So,
she's fantastic. Vex has a YouTube channel, and she does movie reviews, and you guys should go check it out. I think every now and then she'll touch on TV, but really, really well done movie reviews that are both critical and I guess flavorful is a good way to put it. We have Hellmouth here. Hey, everyone. Hello, Hellmouth.
Hey.
MG, if Max wins, it's rigged. You're damn right it's rigged. If that ball-headed motherfucker wins something, I'm going to drop kick him in the nuts. That's all I got to say. I'm kidding. I love you, Max. We've got Andrew Gonzalez. What's up, brother? How are you? Let's see. Who else do we have here? Oh, we got LK coming in now. If I don't win, it's rigged. Fair. He also added, and I read a good DC book today, the last one that I thought would be good, Batman, Santa Claus, Silent Night.
I read it.
Not so great.
It's not my favorite. It's not the worst. It would be a meh.
Okay, look, next week, LK, Drew will have you on. You'll hash it out in a debate. Don't be afraid to go for low blows. We have Nicholas Gear. Howdy, folks. Working, but wanted to wish everyone good luck on their chance to win some original art. Heck yes, brother. Appreciate it. Don't work too hard. Feel free to, sneak your phone out and pop a listen when you can. Nadia, the party has arrived. Nadia is another one that's has her own channel, has a million different streams she does, both on her channel, on other people's channel. Another just fun, vibrant person. You should go check her stuff out. And oh yeah, Cage and Corey. Hey, I got to meet Murphy in Dallas. Nice person. She's super chill.
Murphy rocks.
I don't know about chill. I can be a wild card.
Oh, that's fair. I'll accept that.
Wild card.
At a booth, her head's on a swivel. She's always working. Yeah, so
it's my favorite place to be. Anyone that meets me at a con gets to meet the coolest version of me. It's just my happy place.
I mean, I understand that because of my work background. Whenever we were doing events for my old corporate job, everyone was like, "Oh, he's the nicest person." Meanwhile, behind the scenes, I'm nice, but I was strict and I didn't tolerate nonsense. But
fair but firm.
Fair but firm. There we go.
Josh will not stand for baloney.
I will not stand for baloney. We do have Fear Monarch in the house. Frank, there are girls here. Hide the comics. Drew, have you ever hidden comics when you had dates come over?
I've actually told them I've never done anything remotely with comics. I tell them I've never read one at all. I never bring it up at all.
Yeah, no, I'm the opposite. I've got my Star Wars toy collection, and guys will come over and be like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Isn't it cool?" It's a good litmus test.
Tyler told me a story that when he was working on the school paper, his editor was sitting there reading a comic, and a girl came in, and he said his editor threw the comic across the room as quick as he could to make sure that she didn't see him reading it.
Comics are cool, guys. I can't hide my nerdness. So, if people, if I hear Batman or Buffy Angel or anything nerd related, I just kind of spaz out. And we were like, oh, whoa, that was way more intense than what I thought it would be.
I can pass like a chameleon in normal civilized society, but I don't try to.
I mean, I try to, and I just fail miserably.
Yeah, all my coworkers tell me it's like they're like, you look so calm and chill at work, but the minute someone brings up something geek related, comic book related, you light up like a Christmas tree and just start talking. It's like I can't help it.
I've been working at Fogo de Chao, and the day that was like the canonical day that Tony Stark died, I brought that up at work, and like my GM and then my our front of house manager, we all three just like nerded out hardcore in the middle of the dinner rush until they literally both just like kind of went and then ran away. It was fantastic.
I will never forget at my previous job, which I had like 40, I think about 40 or so employees on staff at that job. But one of them was like, hey, you're like a Batman fan, right? And I said, yeah. And he goes, do you think Robin's cool? Which then turned into, well, which Robin are we talking about? And I'm like listing all the people that are Robin canonically, and then the ones that have been Robin, but not canonically. And then you can just see like half the staff's face that were like, dude, it wasn't that serious of a question. Just yes or no, man. Like yes or no.
I got that with, do you like The Mandalorian? And I was like, well, are you talking about the shows or are you talking about the Mandalorians as a race? Because in the expanded universe, Karen Travis wrote a bunch of books about the Mandalorians that I actually think is far superior to the version that Dave Filoni imagined on Clone Wars, and and it just starts off like that, and you're like, so I'm talking about like Cal Scarata, I'm talking about like Waylon Vow, characters like the first Jedi Mandalorian, Barton Jusek, I just start like rattling all that off, and it's like, oh, you're one of those.
Yes, indeed. We do have Kaiser Jose in the house, and he says, if I don't win, I'm canceling my Unholy Nightmare pledge.
Oh.
I think we need to look and see what number he was for the raffle.
Yeah, let me get Kaiser.
We also have Daddy Zach's in the house. Oh, Zaxy Poo, howdy do. Hello, sir. Nice to see you here. Welcome. Let's see. Do we have anyone else? Nope. All right. So we're going to kind of get things kicked off. I'm going to give everyone a fair warning. If my little presentation decides to go apeshit, it's because StreamYard is being a tonight. And I'll do one click and it'll decide to go like 4 clicks forward, 2 clicks back, a click forward, a click back, and have epilepsy. So, we're going to pray for the best. But like I said, we're going to kick off the night with a raffle. So let me pull up art piece numero uno, and then Drew and Murphy, if you guys will talk a little bit of, of course it's hidden back there. Hold on. Son of a bitch. Oh,
we're starting with one of the sketches.
Oh, yeah, with the sketches. Okay.
Well, you hoes. Hold on.
Wait, can I set it as my background?
Maybe. Come on now.
Uh-oh.
No. What? Stink face. We're professionals, everybody. We are professionals.
I mean, it's only the 23rd show. What do you guys want?
The YouTubers.
It does not look good.
Wait,
I tried.
Hold on. I can fix this.
Well, here, let's start off with one of the pages instead.
Okay.
Because he's got those to show. So,
okay. Boom.
Oh.
Okay. There we go.
All right. So this was the first drawing. So you had to back the first week of the campaign?
Yes.
We had. Where is the first drawing? Is. Oh, nope. Sorry. You want to talk a little bit about this real fast while I tell us how many numbers we have?
Yeah, Aurelio and I agreed like he was just going to do easy bust sketches, and I told him, hey, just do a simple one of the recluse, just looking badass with his gun gauntlet, and he knocked it out in like an hour, 2 hours, and he was done. And I loved it, and I was like, all right, if he does that, I'm going to produce one from my own comic, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But this one, yeah, I loved it. It's badass, and whoever has it, they're gonna have the first official hard sketch of the Recluse.
Nice.
And this is also going to be the first thing ever signed by both Dolan and Aurelio.
That is correct.
So they did 2 issues of Born in Blood together, right? And then this is their first project on their own. So this is going to be the first thing ever that's double signed.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a hat. We have a hat. This hat has 181 numbers in it. If you win, your number is going to get taken out. This first drawing is only for the first 105 people. So if we pull your number and you're over 105, you go back in the hat.
Sure.
Sound good?
Yes, sounds good.
All right.
And
drum roll.
Potential winner is
Max. It's Max.
Well, I don't know if is that 16 or 9. Is that 91?
That's a 91.
91.
Backer number 91. Do we want to say their name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say at least first name or their handle.
Backer number 9. Oh, you want to put the piece up again?
Oh.
Yes. Hold on. I'm switching between tabs.
Okay, yep. 91.
There you go. Backer number 91. All right, congratulations, Camille.
Camille.
I think we're just saying the first name, yeah. And oh shit! All right, Camille has not completed their pledge.
Yeah. So so there's still some people on here who have not completed their pledge.
Well, there's gonna be. Well, no. So how about this? Because you have the people on there still have another week.
Okay.
Because we haven't gotten the Kickstarter funds yet.
Okay.
So we're gonna, Camille, if you're watching this, go complete your pledge. Because otherwise, by the time the Kickstarter officially closes, if any of the people that we draw did not complete their pledge, we will do a redraw for a couple of items. So,
I mean, we're here almost every Tuesday, so. Yes,
we're just gonna take
like
over your channel with drawings.
At the store, we're gonna be like, Camille, come to the front desk. You've won.
Camille, please come to the front desk. We found your child tied up in the clothing section. You cannot leave your children here. Thank you. No, that's super exciting. I think I need to double check because I might be one of the people that needs to complete. Maybe Drew, you might need to let me know.
See, Drew, I didn't pledge because when it comes to my friends, I figure I'm just going to give them money directly so that the Kickstarter or Indiegogo doesn't take anything out.
that totally tracks. But honestly, when it comes to smaller campaigns, every single one of those pledges really, really helps because some people, the people that frequent Kickstarter and just peruse through and look at projects, when they look at smaller projects, that number of backers can be what makes them go, you know what? Like 300 people backed this. Like, all right, I'll make it 301. Like that, if they see 199 versus 200, like that 200 might just be what someone needs to see.
That's true. I never thought of that. There is that psychological component to all of this.
Yeah, the number of backers and like having your friends back projects, especially smaller projects. Oh my God. I mean, how many of the backers on there were our friends and family? Like probably a lot of them. And it just helps. It helps get it out to even more eyes that are not our friends and family.
Yeah.
Nice. So Murphy, kind of going back to an earlier topic, Zach says the guys who come over and see your Star Wars collection know it's a trap.
It's a trap.
Run.
You have no idea. I used to be so excited to show people that, and then I learned that like when you live in nerd world, you start to believe that like everyone around you is a nerd, and you forget that it's everyone around you, not everyone. Yeah. And I moved the collection to my office for the longest time because I knew it would always be appreciated there.
There's only one girl who had a collection of something that I ever walked in and was like, this is not going to work. And it was she had a collection of Anne Geddes portraits of the babies dressed up as animals or flowers.
Ooh.
Like, and that was like in every room.
That's
and it was just like, you look at it and you go, if this works out, best case scenario, I'm going to be living in a house with this as the decor in every room, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I can understand checkbooks, but outside of that, no. I do want to bring up some comments about the art. That design kind of makes me think of Blue Beetle and Spider-Man.
Cool.
Mixed with Punisher.
Yep.
I think
that's exactly it. I mean, we were going for a Punisher, Spider-Man, John Wick type character, and you're going to get every bit of that in the story with the Recluse.
We have another comment. Looks like Kane. I think he's referring to wrestling.
No, I think he's referring to Spider-Man's clone.
Yeah. Oh, my bad.
I mean, that's
actually could go either way, really.
Yeah, he's got the longer hair like Kane.
Yeah. Maybe Kane looks like him.
Maybe Kane looks like him.
Yeah.
Fair indeed. Well, we are going to go ahead and get on to some of our topics for tonight, if this will cooperate. So we're going to start off with our comic book section. So KAPOW. Oh, hey. I got to say hello real quick. We have Miss Sassy Sasquatch in the house. What's up, Miss Sassy? Sassy, I'm sorry. I missed church yesterday. It's because I was busy. No, what is today? Today's Tuesday. I missed church on Sunday. See, it's been a week. I will go back and watch the playback though. So Sassy has a Sunday stream that is freaking fantastic, and I highly recommend checking it out. So, all right, guys. First topic for tonight. Aaron's trip to LA Comic-Con. So this past weekend they had Comic-Con in Los Angeles, and Aaron went, and Max was there, but Max is, too much of a nerd to come on the stream tonight because he has class. So we're just gonna talk to Aaron and get all the good details from Aaron before Max has the stream on Sunday. Suck it, Max.
I have to say, this is probably, like, LA Comic-Con, not one of my favorite shows in and of itself. It never has been. But this LA Comic-Con might have been the most fun that I have had at a con in years. The group that we went to, okay, so Max and I went down there and we met up with the fellowship. So we met up with Gary from Nerdrotic. We met up with Exodegu. We met up with Kara from, if you guys remember Kara from Limited Run Games, she got fired because a lunatic took issue with the fact that she wanted to play, she dared say online that she wanted to play the Hogwarts game. And now she's social media coordinator over at Rippaverse. Gary's wife, Melissa. Who else? Oh, Chris Gore from Film Threat. We went and hung out with all those guys and just had an absolute blast. They did a couple of panels that we went to. I actually got up and asked some questions at one of them. And just the vibe, this welcoming vibe that it's really the way that I wished that the comic industry was when I got into it. When I first got into comics, I thought it was going to be, oh man, all these nerds that just love this stuff and want to talk about it and have a good time. And it turned out to be a bunch of politicking and backstabbing, and that you find in any kind of industry, but like 100 times worse. And with this group, they're so fan oriented, like, and such a when you hear from the comic professionals that lecture you and hate you online about how you hate, this group hates diversity, this group hates this group hates that. It is such a wildly diverse group of fans that came out and that were talking to all of us. And I had so many people coming up to me who recognized me from Thinking Critical and the Comics Aficionados stream. I had people that were coming up and had read my Darkwing Duck run and were thanking me for the run and telling me how much they appreciated it. Special shout out to Michael and to a man called Chill, who were just absolutely standouts as far as coming up and talking to me. There was a guy dressed as Luke Skywalker, a guy dressed as Preacher. Both of those guys were super cool. I'm sorry I forgot your names. It's really hard for me to remember that kind of stuff. But just so many people came out. And it was just such a blast. And it reminded me that, although the mainstream comic book industry might be dying right now, the comic industry as a whole will survive. This medium will survive. It's just, we're going to win. The people that are currently destroying comics with, their nonsense, they're going away. That's their part of the industry is dying. And that's why they're so scared about some of the topics that we're going to talk about later. But if you've ever wondered if any of those guys, Chris Gore, Gary, X-Ray Girl, if you've ever wondered, Kara, if you've ever wondered if those people are awesome, I can absolutely tell you that they are.
Heck yeah. Aaron, we do have a question for you. Did you see Failure Row?
I'm the one who dubbed it. I'm the one who dubbed it Failure Row. Yeah, you know what? Here's something. I like to be complimentary when necessary or when it's appropriate. I will say this: as much as we've talked about Tim Sheridan and not agreeing with a lot of his positions and a lot of the way he's handled himself, I will say this for him: every time I walked down the aisle that he was on, he was actually at his table. Whether there was someone there talking to him or not, he was there the whole day. He got a free table to come out to that show, and he sat there and made the show look good. I can't say that about a lot of the pros. I walked by several tables. I don't even know if the people showed up. I never saw them at their table, which I think is insulting and unprofessional and not entirely surprising, from the people that they brought out. But, you're there for the fans. The con brought you out. They're giving you a hotel. They're giving you a free table. You owe it to the fans that are supposed to come and see you to be at your table to talk to them. And so I will. I'll give Tim Sheridan credit for that. He was actually there.
Not to be a negative Nancy, but could it possibly be that some of these other creators were scheduled for panels or signings at a different booth or
the whole day?
I mean, you never know.
I spent a lot of time hanging out in Artist Alley, and some of these guys I never saw there. And they're certainly not names that are big enough to be just like, I'll be here between 3 and 4 to sign. You can understand that from some pros. Like a Chip Zdarsky, maybe isn't going to be there the whole time. He's going to be there for several hours, then he's going to go to lunch, then he's going to, come back for 2 hours, then he's going to be gone again. You can kind of understand that. And I understand bathroom breaks, and, I understand all of that. But, at least have a sign on your table that says where you are, that says, that you will be back.
Agreed. We do have another question for you, and it comes from our favorite undead being, Nosferatu the vampire. Why is Aaron looking so sexy tonight? Aaron, why are you looking? Is it the rearranging you're doing in the room? Is it the lighting change? What's going on?
Oh, the complete disaster that's going on behind me. I'm prepping for my Christmas decorations, so I am just moving stuff around like crazy. And I also just took in a new action figure collection to price out and sell. So there's just stuff everywhere. But
Galactus on top of the Ghostbusters firehouse.
Yeah, Ghostbusters firehouse with Galactus up there.
I mean,
Galactus is covered in Starros. I don't know if you can tell that.
I'd read that crossover.
Yeah, Murphy, you think you get weird looks when you have people come over for the first time. I appreciate that. I have a new camera that was a Christmas gift from Wes, as well as a new mic. So I'm going to be running off my laptop instead of my tablet. So hopefully we won't have the audio problems that I've had in the past. But I have to give all credit to the camera setting where you can put, it says, would you like to, touch yourself up? I'm like, what is that? Turn up, all the way up.
I thought you were just going to say, would you like to touch yourself? And I was like, whoa, I don't have those camera settings.
It just works from here down.
Yeah. Hey, it's a spicy stream tonight. I do want to kind of hit 2 comments real quick and we'll get back on topic, but we've got Zach's popping in saying Sassy might be the best natural solo streamer I've ever seen. She was good on day 1. Completely agree with that. And you should sub to Sassy, and he dropped the link in the chat. And I will also add, Zach has his own channel, and he has his own show that he does on Wednesdays called What's Good Wednesday. And while Sassy is great with solo streams, Zach's is one of the best at bringing people together and discovering hidden talent. And finding these offbeat movies or shows that people have never heard of that are excellent. So I highly recommend you subscribe to him, and hopefully he'll drop his link as well. We also had Mike Has Bad Knees popping in the chat. What's up, brother? Nice to see you here. So Aaron, did you have any good interactions with anyone at LA Comic-Con?
I met Jeremy Adams.
Oh, nice.
Who is absolutely just the nicest guy. He was walking around with his daughter, and I ran into him. I'm not sure if he knew who I was, but I made sure to give him his props for being one of the writers at DC that I actually like. So that was fun. I caught up with people. Like, one of my favorite artists and one of my favorite people in the industry is Brianna Garcia. I think she's so talented. I think she does some of the most gorgeous Disney art I've ever seen. And she's an absolute sweetheart. Her and her fiance Kit are just 2 of the most delightful people I've ever met. And I love seeing them. I ran into Mark Sable, who I haven't seen in years. He used to do stuff at Boom when I was there. And, so I got to catch up with him a little bit. Just a lot of, I saw a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long time, and it was super cool. I saw a lot of people that I haven't ever wanted to see again, but there they were.
Nice. Did you throat punch anyone?
No. Actually, that's the nice thing is that, all these people that run their mouths online, they talk a big game, but they're never going to come up and confront you. That's never, it's never going to reach that level. Even when they're conspiring in back rooms, saying that they're going to follow a guy around and try to trigger his PTSD to get him to start swinging on him. It's all talk. So, you go to a con, and even if people don't like you, you leave them alone, they leave you alone.
Fair. Drew, I think we have a question for you real quick. And is this Jay Bowman and his girlfriend?
The amount of times I've been told I look like Jay from Regular Media is ridiculous. It's insane. I'm like over a foot taller than him. I don't understand.
I will say Drew is surprisingly taller than I expected him to be the first time I met him. Because I had two, I guess, comments about Drew after meeting him was, wow, he's taller than I expected. And I'm sure I get the opposite. Wow, he's shorter than I expected. But wow, he's taller than I expected. And he's very touchy-feely. That's a handsy guy, is quote what I told Joe Corallo.
Drew is a hugger.
He is a hugger.
Yes, I am.
If we ever get together at a con where Jay Bauman is there, I want to get him in a little blue backpack, and Drew can carry him around like Yoda. And Jay can just be like, finish your training, you will. Just like as Drew runs and jumps. That'll really set up the size difference.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of being handsy, Subtle Deviancy says Josh once confronted me in a state park restroom at Gettysburg. Look, I will neither confirm nor deny. What can I say? Aaron, we do have a question. What was the ratio of comic book to non-comic book booths at the con? And I honestly feel like this is a fair question because if we look back even at Dallas Fan Expo when we were there, I would say it was more anime and manga, like heavily anime and manga, opposed to kind of Western comics. Did it feel that way for LA Comic Con?
LA Comic Con is weird because the way that the convention center is constructed, you've got kind of like two separate sections. So you actually have to walk across kind of this sky bridge to go from one to the other. So they were about the same size. You had like kind of your Western comic book section, but I will say the Western comic book section had a lot of like arts and crafts stuff in it. Artist Alley obviously had artists and they're making their different things, including little like little crocheted, little crocheted toys and things like that. But a lot of comics. There were a lot of comics, and you had your high end guys who are like, here's all your key issues graded, that are crazy expensive. And then you had your guys who are like, here's just bins and bins of great books for $1. And Max and I just attacked those dollar bins. And so I was able to recommend to him a lot of comics that came out before he was born, because everyone knows Max is our sweet little baby.
He's a little baby.
He was born in 1993.
Oh, that little bastard. I hate, Max is our baby, yeah. But I hate dealing with my job and getting people's date of birth, and they're like, I was born in 2003. I'm like, fuck off. Jerks. I saw a question now. Hellmouth. It was a comment, not a question. But one day I'll make it to my first con to meet Dolan, Murphey, and many others. Yes. And if you've never been to a convention, there are good conventions and bad conventions. I've pretty much kept my tenure to San Diego because I used to work it every year. And then now that I'm back in Texas, just Dallas Fan Expo. But Drew, what would you say are in your opinion, some of the best cons to go to?
If you love pure comic books, I would say going to Baltimore is one. Baltimore is like a straight up comic book show.
It's the last Comic Con.
Yeah.
That is a mainstream Comic Con.
Yeah, and Heroes Con in North Carolina. That's like B right there. Those two. And I love going to Dallas. Dallas is just so much fun. And you guys, this year was a blast. Aaron, you missed out. Dallas was amazing. Best show I ever been to in my life was at Dallas.
Well, I'm planning on making this next year's show and then the following year's show because that's when Wes is supposed to come out and join us. So
yes, hypothetically, we'll see what happens. And in New York, I like going to New York.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, Brian, who I used to work with at Batman News, he always talked about how New York was his favorite. To the point that I was usually at San Diego with Andrew and Jay, and then Brian would usually go with Casper. And I think it was like a rotation of people, Elena, I think, to New York. And then there was one time that Brian came down to San Diego, and he was like, I hate this.
Yeah, no, I hate San. I am not a fan of San Diego. I am not a fan. I just don't like the layout. I don't like how the creators are pretty much shoved to a corner, and they have their little 6x6 cell that they're in. And
I think you're being generous. They basically have like a TV tray now it used to be free, but now they have like a TV tray that they have to pay for.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. I can't believe it.
I worked Comic-Con like professionally. I lived on the road. I did that for 6 years. So I've been to nearly every Comic-Con that still exists today. If it was existing before shut down. San Diego is definitely like, it has turned into a different monster than it used to be, but it still has that same energy. Like the only big difference now from before, like there was always waiting in line overnight. There was always people camped out in tents. There was always like, if you get into Hall H, you stay in Hall H. Like it's been that way for a long time. But when they made it so that that you had to have a badge to be able to go even walk in front of the convention center, I think kind of like took some energy out of it, because it used to be a thing where the entire front of the convention center through the entire road that runs in front of it was just filled with people. Mm-hmm. And cosplayers wouldn't even get a ticket for the con. They would work all their incredible cosplay costumes, and then they would just stand out there in front of the convention center like a fucking person dressed up in a costume in Vegas. Like, and they just did it for the love of it. And that's one thing they don't allow anymore, which I think is a fucking shame, honestly.
And it's created a bottleneck, like of where you actually get to go into front of the con, that like I am just waiting for, if somebody has a heart attack or something in there, they're dead. There's no way, the way that they've created this bottleneck, and they just cram people in and run them through this like tiny little what do you call it? Like a sieve, like a funnel. Yeah, SIEVE, you know what I'm trying to say. Like a funnel is the best way to, they just like kind of funnel them into this narrow area, and they're coming from multiple different directions and converging. It's absolutely awful. I will say that this last year was pretty good.
Am I not supposed to do that? You should have told me that up front.
I've cussed like 20 times already. Are you kidding me? You're good.
Okay.
I'm the only one that keeps it clean. I'm so talented. I don't have to work blue.
I love it. So I haven't been to SDCC in probably the last two. I think the last year I went was actually 2019. So Murphy, are you saying that area kind of in downtown San Diego right there where they used to have attractions, you can't even really go do that anymore? Or is it
so like so what I was talking about was the area like directly in front of the convention center. So there's that road that is in front of the convention center that is just a circle drive. No one is allowed there. You're not allowed to get into the sidewalk leading up to the convention center unless you have a badge. And then they've also set it up so that road, you're not allowed to be in the road. So where that used to just be a huge hangout area, it's literally just for like buses to come in and drop people off, which I understand, but like use a fucking hotel. It's right next door.
Yeah. Well, that hotel is freaking expensive though. Like we would
We're
always hear
drop people off in front of the hotel.
Every hotel out by San Diego is expensive during con, because the city doesn't. Some cities have it like so that it's regulated, like they can't go past a certain point of raising the price for events. San Diego doesn't have that, so it's like the Wild West. You'll get Motel 6 rooms, and they're like, yeah, we want $600 a night.
Yeah,
and it's unbelievable.
Now Baltimore does the same thing, which is
there's a lot of hotels down there, which is why it's bullshit whenever San Diego pretends that they might move to Vegas or they might move to Anaheim. You probably could do the show at Anaheim, but the hotel situation is going to be 100 times worse. And also they're going to have to take up a bunch more hotel space, because a lot of people that volunteer for San Diego live in San Diego. So they go home at night.
Yeah.
So the con would have to buy all those rooms, but I think there's a lot of reasons why it's a bluff. It's a bluff to wring more concessions out of the city each year, and eventually the city will wise up to it, and then they'll just go, "Oh, ReedPop, do you want to come in and do a con same time of year?" And it'll for the general public, it'll be no different because Comic-Con doesn't have a brand identity.
Yeah, I will say, if you think Aaron's exaggerating about the $600 a night for a Motel 6, I will let you know the first year I went, I did not plan properly. So I was not prepared financially, even though I was going to get reimbursed, I was not prepared financially to book my hotel. And I decided to book a hotel in Chula Vista at a Days Inn. And it wasn't like middle of the road Days Inn. It was like, I'm pretty sure that's a blood stain on the carpet and someone got murdered. Also,
they have an hourly rate.
I'm pretty sure there's bed bugs, and this brown splatter on the wall is either blood or shit. It could be either. You don't know. And it was like $450, $500 a night. And this is back in like 2013. So yeah.
It used to be so nice.
That we get 10 people in a 2-bedroom hotel, and we're like, there's 2 people on each bed. We've got air mattress here. Someone sleeping under the table that's out in the because it's like a suite, and we shove as many people as possible in there, because otherwise, if you're there as a vendor to make money, it's like, okay, I had to pay $2,500 for my corner booth. Okay, now I have to pay $800 for my flight. Okay, I got to charge $500 to get all my stuff there. Now I got to tack on $7,000 for a hotel room. Like, no, okay, how many different people can we split this between? Like,
what we started doing was we started booking Airbnbs, and we'd have the whole crew kind of go to. But it worked out well too, because I like to cook. I'm a big cooker, so we kind of got to cover either breakfast or dinner or something during those days, which made it nicer. Also, if you're ever at San Diego Comic-Con, there's a little diner close to the convention center called Brian's 24. Go. We have a couple of comments real quick. So Rafael Ponce, I bought 6 Omnis on Sunday. 1, nice. Good job. 2, let us know what you bought, because I'm curious. But hell yeah, I'm glad you're going there and buying books. That's what we need more of at these conventions. LK, any other panels you went to besides Gary and Film Threat ones?
I popped into there was one called the Black Magic Order, and it was just put on by a bunch of African American Harry Potter fans. But the lady that came over, I was sitting in the VIP room, and the lady came over, and she couldn't have been more sweet. It was a little hard to understand her because she had some sort of disability, but she gave me like the button for the con and told me where it was and everything. And she was just such a sweetheart. I was like, I'm popping in here. I'm going to support, I'm going to support, and I'm going to watch a little bit of this. So that was the only other one that I really went to. Most of the other time I was running around. I was talking to people. I was meeting people. And that was really my takeaway from the con, was that so many people came up to me, and there's such enthusiasm within the customer base for comics, whether they're currently buying comics or not, because they've been chased away. But they are so happy about the medium, and about the possibility that things are going to get better, and that things are going to turn around, and there's more independent stuff coming out, and they're so excited about it. And it reminded me, I've always felt this way, but it was good to kind of recharge and reaffirm the fact that the customers are the stars of the comic book industry. It's you guys who read these books, who put out your hard-earned money to buy them, that make what we do possible. And the fact that you have pros that denigrate you, and that spit in your face, and that call you names when you're not happy with what's going on in the comic books that you love, that I got so angry about that this weekend, because I met so many wonderful people. And it's like, you guys, you come up and you're like, oh, I love you did this. I love that you did that. I love you. I love you for watching. I love you for supporting. Otherwise, everybody in the chat right now, if you weren't here, we'd just be talking into the void. We'd just be a couple people. We might as well be at a bar, and just talking amongst ourselves. But it's you guys that come in and are part of the conversation. It's you guys that come in and spend your money. It's you guys that come in and support us. You're the lifeblood of this industry, and don't ever let anybody tell you any different.
Absolutely. Completely agree. I completely agree. And I think that kind of goes, what you're talking about too, kind of goes back to what Murphy was saying about the energy that's there when you go to conventions. And I know she specifically said San Diego, but just in general, I feel like there's such an energy. Yeah, I think people are excited to be there, because a lot of times it's people that are passionate about whatever medium they're going there to see, whether it's comics, manga, anime, games, whatever it is. They're excited, and that general excitement, that feeling is infectious, and you're surrounded by it. For professionals or even people that work in media or people like us, kind of covering all bases there. But it's also a time that we get to see people that we don't often get to see, and that adds to it as well. I've always looked forward to cons because of the relationships I got to build with people, and then to kind of pick that up and continue. So there's energy on multiple levels, and I think that's why it makes conventions magical. So,
well, and to kind of touch on the, it is all about the fans. Creators need to always remember that. Like, I used to be a salesperson at cons, and then I didn't go to a con for 2 years, and that first one back after working in comics for that whole time, and then going back and getting to experience going to a con as a creator, like I can't imagine being in that space and not being just so humbled and excited to meet people who actually like what I create. Like, it's the most amazing feeling in the world. And if you get so big that you forget that, like, fucking put yourself in the corner and remember what it was like when you started. Like, it's all about the people that like what you do. Like, we all, I don't know where I'm going with that, but like, that just, it's one of the greatest feelings in the world.
As Dolan says, fix yourself.
Yes.
Do better, Senator.
Do better, Senator. We do have a comment from LK here. I've tried 5 times to get tickets for SDCC and struck out each time. Oh, well. Yeah, look, getting tickets is a nightmare.
It's so stupid that you have to have a membership. So you have to know when to sign up for the membership, and then you have to be ready on the day, and you have to have 8 computers open, and you've got to be like in their little waiting room and hoping you get through. It's a ridiculous system.
Well, that's connected to the conversation of them always threatening to take it to another city. It's not solely just them trying to make themselves in a better position. The convention center literally can't handle any more people. And they've been building it out and adding more for years, and every time something finishes, it never ends because they literally always get more people. So like, yeah, it sucks that you can't get those tickets, but unless they literally start knocking down stuff like other buildings or build into the sea, there's only so much space they can create.
Yeah, no, well, I'm thinking more of the. I absolutely agree with what you're saying, Murphy, because it does sell out every year. But I'm just talking about the system that is in place, where it's like, it's not just that tickets go on sale; it's that you had to sign up for a membership, and you had to go through, and you had to know when that was, so that you could go and put in all your information, and so that they can tell you the day that you're going to go, that they're going to open up tickets, and then you got to go, and you got to, basically like break a pool stick in half. We're going to have tryouts, and everybody's got to, jump in, and it's just an absolute hell.
The system does fight against scalpers, though, and that I think like it's worth it to make it hard so that people don't immediately go and buy out as many tickets as possible and then sell them for 4 times the cost. Like, it's really hard to get the tickets. I want them to be in the hands of people that are actually going to be there, and they're not just trying to make a buck.
Yeah, I just wish that it was more like, for example, when I worked for con, it was when you could still walk up and buy a ticket day of. And, we had a lot of people like we had the first year that we switched to where you had to buy everything online. We had like a lot of people who showed up. Like we had one guy who would come every year, and he was mentally handicapped, but he knew to come upstairs to come see Dave and I and buy his ticket. And we never charged him. We always comped him. We always comped him, and he was always a delight. And Dave and I would always joke, like, what if he's conning us? What if he's not disabled at all? He just had this really great scam going, and we're just giving him a free ticket every year. But that first year, like this grandmother came, and she was like, her little boy was crying, and she was like, we come every year, like we live up north, and every year I mark it on the calendar, and we drive down and we walk up and buy tickets, and they're telling us that we can't buy tickets this year. And I'm like, well, and I'm talking to her, and like I'm asking her questions and things like that. But I'm like, well, let me see your ID. Let me see if you're in the system. And I looked up, and they had been in there in the previous years. But while she's talking to me, and I'm like listening to her story, I'm like typing up the badge for her and her grandson. And she's like, even if like, he just can go in for a little bit by himself, and I have to wait outside, I just don't want to, I don't want to, ruin his good time and everything. And I'm like, no, I really understand, they changed the system. And my hands are kind of tied. I'm just going to have to give you these complimentary badges and tell you to go have a good time. And that's what you used to. And she was so thankful. And that's what you used to be able to do as somebody who worked in registration before it became more corporate, before it was taken over by people who were, rules Nazis essentially. And all these protocols are in place. They really. My biggest complaint with it is that some of the people that came in really robbed it of its humanity. It used to be that, you had comp tickets that you would take out and, that you were given as somebody who was volunteering. And, you'd go out into the city and they would tell you if you get really good service from a waiter or something like that, give them a 1-day pass, to come in and check out the show. So they used to be more about what their stated mission is, which was spreading the word about, comics and the popular arts. And I just feel like they've gotten away with that. But that's corporatism, isn't it?
Yeah. We do have Mike has bad knees referring to the other panel you went to, saying, "Oh, there was a panel for me." Indeed, Mike. Indeed. We got subtle deviancy. I randomly break into San Diego hotels to flick poo on the wall to keep Josh guessing. Someone needs to. Someone needs to. Nos as well. And Murphy, if you haven't figured it out, Subtle and Nos are our two deviants that like to make the chat spicy, but we love them for it. Nos says, I want Josh to make me breakfast in bed. You know what, Nos, for the right price, we can make it happen. And yes, I do have hourly rates.
Did I have a fight? Subtle deviancy, were you someone that I had a fight with on Twitter recently?
No.
The name sounds familiar, so I don't know if you were just yanking my chain or not.
Probably he likes to troll, and he's one of the best at it. So, Mike,
I like it too. Like it's funny. I always people like get mad and they're like, oh, that guy, you like really went at it with that guy, and I was like, well, it was fun. It was fun for me. I hope he was having fun too. I assume that's why he started busting my nuts in the first place. Was because he thought it was fun. So yeah, we're gonna go back and forth and we're gonna roast each other and see where we end up.
People on Reddit understand that. People on Twitter get way too just heated with everything.
Yeah, but like you can always come back and we can have a normal conversation. I don't care. I don't get serious about this stuff. I don't carry a grudge.
Yeah, it depends on the subject matter, but I do like to troll every now and then. Especially
no.
Never. I like to watch people just completely lose it, which is terrible, but funny. Mike also said, I would love to be in a bar with this group. And okay, Drew's back. Good. So
I was about to say, for anyone who's wondering, my cat is over there. So that's why he keeps leaning over to pet. He's not camera shy.
I think, Drew, this is part of the reason you mentioned Dallas being so fun, but it's like this hangout time, and typically at least one of the nights, two of the nights, like a group will get together and go out to a restaurant or bar and just like chill. And it's so much fun. And then when I worked for Batman News, we wouldn't go to a bar. We went to a frozen yogurt shop, but we would sit there to like 2:30 in the morning, and it was always a blast. But just hanging out, talking, having people talk to us. It's a fun time. And, I will speak on these other guys, but they're incredible people. So getting to hang out with them is a nice like perk of going to these cons.
Dinner after the con is always my favorite thing. And that's where you actually get to know people. You can actually like, that's working conventions is exhausting. It's the coolest job, but it is exhausting. And that just refresh, like chilling at a hotel bar or, restaurant, wherever, like it's the best.
Yeah. I don't think people, especially if you're working a convention, I don't think people realize how much work goes into it and how long your days can be. Because when I would work SDCC, I would come back and I would take that Monday off just to recuperate. And people that I worked with in my day job never understood. They're like, well, you just had fun all weekend. I'm like, when you're press and you're at especially San Diego Comic-Con, you had press junkets starting at 7 a.m. And then sometimes your last assignment wasn't wrapping up till like 1:30 in the morning. And then you're trying to get back to your hotel, wind down, shower, go to sleep, get up early enough to get to the convention center by whatever means you were going to get there, bus, Uber, whatever. Like they're long, long days. And it's not like, oh, let me go take a lunch break. Like you're going from panel to panel to panel to panel to panel. And like, let me pull this Cliff Bar out. So.
Yeah.
No, I was only there 3 days. There was
Yeah.
only 3 days of LA Comic-Con. One day was a short day. And, I was like, man, when I was in my 20s, you'd go to San Diego and I'd work in registration. I'd have to be at the desk at 7 a.m. So I'd have to get up at 6, get over there, work till noon. Then you have the day off. Your friends come over. You go into the con. You're on the con floor till like 6. Go back to the hotel, shower, change, go out to dinner, then go drink at the Hyatt bar, and network for till like 2 a.m. And then get up at 6 again the next day to do it all over again. You do that for 5 days straight. Go home, sleep for 8 hours, and you were ready to go back to work on Tuesday. Now I'm at LA Comic-Con. It's day 2, and I'm like, everything hurts and I'm dying.
Yeah. We have Fear Monarch. Oh, come on. There we go. It's the same as being a roadie versus going to a show. Yep. I've lived that life as well, so I understand. And I've worked major golf tournaments, 2 U.S. Opens. It was fun, but exhausting, so I can only imagine how tiring Comic-Con is.
Yeah, in between conventions, like I'm always running, I'm always doing cardio, doing workouts just to stay fit and active. That way I can be able to be on my feet all day at a convention. And because isn't it? Like, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm pushing 40. I'm 40 next year, so it's like I got to be staying active to be doing this shit. And I don't want to be one of these guys who are like in their middle age. You see at the booth, you're just like, yeah, you like that? All right, yeah, that'd be $50. And like, no, I can't do that. I'm going to be on my feet, engaging with customers with a smile on my face.
Did we lose Josh? Am I the only one not hearing him?
I can hear him. Aaron, say what you think he's saying.
Oh, okay. Guys, I just want you to know that I think that Aaron Sparrow is the best. I think he's handsome and smart, and you guys should should really support whatever he does. I agree with all of his opinions, and
he's good enough, he's smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like him.
My internet is crappy. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I was saying Drew's over here saying he's not a spring chicken, but then he's also the same guy that's like, I ran 5 miles this morning.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
I had to stop myself from rolling my eyes. But I run, do cardio, and it's like, you shut your mouth.
I have to. If I didn't, I would be sitting on my ass, tired, exhausted. I can't. I gotta stay active. That's just me.
I like sitting on my ass.
We do
Did we lose Josh again? Oh.
Did we lose me again? My internet is throttling so hard right now.
You're dipping out. Okay, so I'll Josh, do your adjustment, and I'll just kind of like take over here. Hellmouth says, Aaron, at the dollar bins, did you look for bronze, silver, or modern? There was a little mix of everything. There was there's a lot of bronze in there. Every now and then you'd come across like a Silver Age that was pretty beat up, but you're like, oh, I want this for a reader copy. Nothing modern. Nothing in the last 10 years did I pick up. Everything was from like the 80s, the 90s, or earlier. What did I pick up? I picked up a bunch of John Byrne Fantastic Four, some of which I had, some of which I didn't, some of which I got like a little bit worse versions for for reader copies. I picked up some Ann Nesenti Daredevil that was so I came in on Ann Nesenti's Daredevil probably around the Fall of the Mutants tie-in. I think that was the first one that I bought back in the day, and since then I'd gone back and I'd picked up like Frank Miller and earlier, but there was some early stuff from Ann's run that I didn't pick up. And I filled that gap. And then you have just some other random stuff that was like, oh, I've never read this issue of Iron Man. Oh, I've never read this, or I can't remember reading this, or I don't want to go dig this out to read it. It looks fun. So yeah, I did a bunch of that, and then I made a bunch of recommendations to Max. So I got Max to buy a bunch of Joe Madeira X-Men that were in the dollar bin. Of course, I own all those, but Max doesn't. So because that was coming out when he was born. I was like, Max, look at all this Joe Madeira art, and he's like, ooh, Psylocke, and started going. Then I recommended New Warriors to him. The Fabian Bagley run of New Warriors was in there from like issue 3 on up. So
nice. I should be good now with my internet, but we have to go back to. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to show that. We have to go back to an earlier point in the stream when Murphy cussed again. So Nas, please have this young lady put $1 in the swear jar. And we also have Subtle coming back in. Murphy uses swear words I've never even heard on a rugby pitch. Blushes furiously. Listen, making Subtle blush. I love it. And Aaron, Subtle confirmed. Aaron and I went back and forth about Iman Vellani. Laugh out loud.
I thought that was you.
We also had Flaccid Phoenix join the stream. Hello, sir. How are you? And if StreamYard will corrupt. There we go. Josh trolls us with his movie takes. Listen, Wakanda Forever is the best. Suck it. So, should we do another drawing?
Yeah,
I think so.
We'll do two more.
Yeah, let's do two more. So let me.
Do you want to?
The first comic page.
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing the comic page. Wait. What number?
Oh, I sent those after. I didn't number those since we had them here to show you. It's the one with horses.
Yes.
Hold up, I'm doing the wrong one again.
It was from the first group. It was the one the same image with the first recluse. There we go. That's the one. Yeah.
Boom.
Page from the very first comic I wrote that was published under Nickel Plate's art studio. Here's the original comic list, the comic in a day, published in there. And he writes your artist strengths, and she's a professional horse and camel artist. And we told a funny, young, all ages story about horses being able to speak, as well as a cat wearing a cone of shame. So, yeah.
All right. So this is still from the first drawing. So again, the first 105 backers. If we pull your number out of this hat and it is over 105, you're going back in the hat, and we're drawing another.
Yes. The winner is number 56.
Number 56. Wah, wah, wah. All right, Todd. Congratulations, Todd. We are going to send everyone a message, by the way, on Kickstarter if you're one of the names that we drew. So if you're in here, congratulations, Todd. If you're not in here, why?
Yeah, why, Todd? Why?
All right, and we're going to go ahead and do another one. We'll go ahead and do the next sketch.
Yep. Yeah, the next sketch by Aurelio.
All right, so this was from our second drawing opportunity. So this one is 131 backers are entered into win.
Aurelio was like, I want to do one of Recluse again, but then transforming. I'm like, absolutely, go for it.
This came out so good.
Yeah, and he nailed it. He does them so quickly. And it's like, okay, wish you were here, man. Holy crap.
And if you if you did back the campaign, there are still sketch options like sketch busts that didn't sell on the campaign. And also when we get into backer kit, which I'll have built up probably in the next week or so. Like now I can't stop shaking it. If you are here and you missed the campaign and you're interested in checking it out, or you're interested in getting one of these sketches, they are going to be available as add-ons in the backer kit pre-order store. There will be a link for that at on the campaign page within the next week.
Two interior art pages.
There are two. Yeah, there's two left, and we'll probably add up some more interior art pages for the new pages if he wants to.
Yeah, maybe if he wants to. Yeah.
All right,
let's go. The winner is 119.
Oh, is that within? It is. We said 131, right?
Yeah.
All right, 119. Eric?
Eirik?
E-I-R-I-K.
Yeah, that's Eric.
Eric. Okay. Congratulations, cool. Eric. Backer number 119.
That is killer. I love that.
Yeah, that is that's a great sketch.
We have 4 more drawings to do tonight. We have 3 more that were added to the campaign, and then Aurelio actually added 1 more that is a surprise drawing. It's gonna be the last one we do tonight. that he made just for the live stream. So
yeah.
I'm excited.
We got Flaccid, being ever the loving, supportive fan. Congrats, Todd. I hate you.
And we did the math. Everyone has like a 26% chance of winning a sketch on this. Those are pretty decent odds.
It's pretty good.
We love you, Todd. Get fucked, Todd. Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah, I'll insert it into the jar as well. Jay, like they said, there's more coming. Keep those fingers crossed.
I love this. I'm gonna have to do something like this for my campaign.
It's
Absolutely.
fun.
Yeah.
Sorry, my
Josh,
internet's cutting out again.
Silent again. Silent Josh. Hi, welcome to the Jay Bauman and Silent Josh show.
Oh, hey, Aaron. How's it going?
Pretty much.
I mean, do I get to be Elijah Dushku?
That's a good goal.
I have met Miss Dushku, and she look, as a gay man, I'll just say she's hot.
Yeah, I have never had the pleasure, but man, loved her on Buffy, and then later on Dollhouse and all the stuff she did.
Oh,
I love Dollhouse.
In Banshee, the last season of Banshee she was on. Holy shit, it was looking good. Yeah.
I will say she's hot, and she's actually really, really nice. Was very warm, very open to conversation, like didn't, kind of shoo me away. And yeah, only nice things.
Using her as a space heater?
What was that?
Warm? Nothing. That was a very dumb joke.
Sorry, I think my internet was dropping, so I ruined your punchline.
I didn't hear the punchline either, Murphy.
Oh, okay. I do want to move on to the next topic, and it's a tale of two local comic shop owners. So I think roughly a week ago, we had a comic shop owner kind of come in talking about how so many shop owners are complaining about the industry, and then he hopes the industry just burns to the ground because of the complaining. Which, seemed to get a lot of support from people within the industry, creators, and it just kind of blew my mind that, one, why would you hope that it burns to the ground? Because it's your industry, you need that money. And two, why are you going to be so negative about people wanting to see the industry get better or become better or return to being better, however you want to look at it. And then you have this gentleman, I believe his name is Jerry O'Neill, and he has Palace Comics in Massachusetts, and he put out he's got a YouTube channel. He does regular videos. He's very positive about comics. He constantly talks about new releases, what he thinks is good and worth buying. And he had one of his streams kind of clipped down to about a minute-long video where he's talking about how, so many writers today are inserting identity politics in themselves and, making the character a version of who they are as opposed to writing the character, and pretty much is like, stop it. No one wants to read that. We've had 60 years of Tony Stark. People come to read Tony Stark. They don't come to read you and what you would do if you were Tony Stark. They want to read Tony Stark. One, it blew up on Twitter, this video going around. But two, the comic pros came out again and were trashing this guy. And half of it was because of what he was saying, which I will say I agree with this gentleman. But half of it was just shit talking the way he looks and pulling out comments like, yeah, he looks like the stereotypical comic book shop owner. Oh, it looks like his shop would smell like, piss, sweat, and shit. Just really terrible things. But I kind of wanted to get Drew, I know you're not on Twitter, so I wanted to get Aaron's take on this, and then I'll kind of bounce it to you for some in the moment feedback.
Well, the main offender was Jamal Igle,
Yes.
Internet lawyer Jamal Igle, who is always just ready to jump in on any digital lynch mob, and go after anybody that he can. I guess you have a lot of time in your hands when publishers aren't calling for you to draw their books, but he went in and he didn't directly call this guy a racist. He didn't call him a bigot. He didn't call him directly a slob, but he said, This guy reminds me of this other guy who was a racist and whose shop smelled like stale cigarettes, and his mom was a racist, and it smelled like piss and they never cleaned. Like, so what he did is he created an equivalency. He didn't call this guy directly that, but he kind of went nudge, nudge, wink, wink. That's what I'm calling this guy. And it was absolutely disgusting. Now, to the credit of the industry, only a couple of people joined in. One was Ramon Villalobos, another person who loves his digital lynch mobs, loves his name, his mudslinging and his name calling. And then Donnie Cates jumped in as well and tried to re-ingratiate himself with the industry. And that blew up in his face spectacularly. So I just want to say that this guy, he said nothing inflammatory. He said nothing that was bigoted. He said nothing that was racist. He simply made a point about the types of stories and the types of writing that is hurting comics right now. And that all boils down to narcissism, putting yourself in the character instead of writing stories about the characters. We talk about this all the time. I've talked about it on this channel. You can't say, how do I tell my story using Tony Stark? You can certainly draw from your life. You can draw from your life experience, and you can use that to tell a story. But we've had decades of Tony Stark now. Readers know who Tony Stark is. And if you go back to the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, you read those stories, they're going to be different, but the character remains the same. You can see the through line of the character throughout all those times. And that's not where we are anymore. So he came out, he made this fairly unassailable statement. To her credit, Gail Simone had probably the best take on it. She said, this is a very small clip out of a much longer video. I watched this guy's channel. I like his stuff. I like what he has to say. This is all, blown out of proportion. And I give Gail credit for saying that, because her vicious peers wanted to go about tearing this guy's life down for daring to say, you are giving me comics that I cannot sell. And that is an unassailable statement. How many comic retailers are we hearing from that are saying that, yeah, sales are 12% of what they were last year? Or some ridiculous boiled down percentage. People have walked away. And there's a bunch of reasons for that, but the main reason is that they are not engaged in these stories. The writers are not the writers and the editors and the publishers are not delivering stories that customers want to buy. And these guys are where the rubber meets the road. These guys are the ones that are suffering. These guys who have built their life around selling your product. A few years ago, when YouTube criticism started about comic books and the direction that they were heading, what did we hear from all the professionals like Jamal Igle? Well, you're not our customer. The retailers are our customer. We don't need to please you. And now here's a retailer saying, you guys aren't giving me books that I can sell. And what happens? Oh, all of a sudden he's not their customer, or he needs to be vilified and he needs to be run out of business. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of these bottom feeding pros who've never really done anything spectacular in the industry. It's like they've never achieved the heights of, say, a Mark Miller, a Frank Miller. I don't want to any of the other Millers. Your Jeff Johns. Any of these people who have told really great stories that sell and continue to sell because they are these epic stories with these characters that people love. And you've got a bunch of carpetbaggers coming in and using them to be political manifestos. And when this guy says, I can't sell your political manifestos, they want to ruin his life. I'm tired of those people. They need to be run out of the industry if this industry is going to be healthy.
Yep. So Drew, I know you're not on Twitter, nope. But you keep up with some of the Twitter action. Okay, I'll also say I'm trying desperately to get you in the cesspool of Twitter, but it'll happen one day. But you do manage to keep up through some YouTube channels. But you kind of shared a video from Richard touching on the subject as well a little bit, mainly leading to other things, which we'll get to the whole Donnie Cates of it all in a second. But I want to get your perspective on this, since one, you work in a comic shop, but two, you also create comics.
Yeah, well, speaking of working in the comic book shops, and this guy, you look at what's behind him on that wall. This is a guy clearly who's been in business with his store for decades. Clearly, I'm willing to bet you. And this is a retailer who I'm willing to bet you knows what sells and what doesn't, and he's able to tell you via a week, or a month, what will sell, what won't. So these are the guys the pros need to listen to. What's working, what's not. And like you said, he brought up earlier, he is the customer. That's what Jamal said at one point. He should know. He knows what moves and what doesn't. And it's a shame that he's being shunned and shut down like this for speaking the truth. And I hate it. I really hate it. It's aggravating. It's annoying. And I'm sure he was at the Comic Pro Summit in Pittsburgh that Sean went to, and I'm sure he was probably hustled at the bar by some of the writers and publishers saying, like, "Oh, you want to invest in this storyline? It's gonna be awesome. Just wait. It's gonna be amazing." But I hate it. It breaks my heart seeing stuff like this and people coming after him. But I really hope that a lot of us are able to support this guy. Probably bring him onto some of our channels if he's out there, if he's in open communications with some of us. Because I really think this is a voice that really needs to be heard and not shunned.
I will say you're right. He's had his comic shop for over 30 years, or right at 30 years. So the man understands the industry and the business, especially from a sales perspective. And Mark Miller is actually trying to get in touch with him to do something with him, whether it's a stream or a conversation or something. But yeah, that's definitely a need. We do have Jay Diggs, the Comics Palace. I'm a subscriber. Hell yeah. He also put he has a good show. If you're into comic books, you'll like it. I have not watched his actual channel. I do know they had a documentary about his store, like a little mini documentary, and I've seen that. And yeah, he seems like he's just a fiery character, but not from a hating perspective, but a love perspective. Because even in the documentary, I think he got in a debate by an employee that's not an employee. It's kind of like just someone who loves comics that goes in and will help him like restock or organize. But they were debating about whether Grant Morrison is good or not. So you know, that kind of typical standard comic shop talk. Oh, were you gonna add something, Aaron?
No, I think that, that's just, I was laughing because that is a typical comic book conversation. Someone will be like, man, Chris Claremont's X-Men was the best comics ever was. And someone will be like, man, that sucked. Let me tell you what was good, and then they'll say like, Grant Morrison's run on Doom Patrol was the only comic that ever mattered, that's kind of opinionated, conversations that you have. And now I disagree with that, but that second one, but the kind of conversations that you hear in comic book shops, because comic book fans used to be passionate. And they haven't had anything in a long time to be passionate about. They were passionate about the directions that the books were heading being the wrong direction. And then they got called names by professionals, and then they became apathetic. And now they don't care. Now it doesn't matter what you do to a character because no one's reading it anyway. So good job. It's like profit? Question mark?
Question mark?
But number one, Aaron, that's what counts.
Jay did add, if you watch the Comic Palace, he talks like that all the time, and he dogs writers and artists all the time during the show. Yeah, I mean, look, I think and I also think there's healthy ways of having criticism. If you can kind of speak, I've always said, I'm fine if you dislike something and you want to say you dislike something. Outside of that, make sure you explain why. Like, don't just come in and say it's garbage or trash or whatever. But if you've got a long history of discussing comics, there's a point where you have to stop explaining yourself all the time. And he's got, years worth of running a shop, years worth of having a channel. Yeah, like people are just going to pick and choose and take it, out of context and say what they want to say.
We know that the industry is filled with people who are in back rooms on Facebook, where they wake up and they actually say things like, so who are we canceling today? Because they just wake up and decide who they can attack. We know it. We've got screenshots. It doesn't get reported by the guys that run the comic book journalism sites because they're in those groups helping to decide who to cancel. So it's just a big circle jerk. The fact that this guy said something that was fairly unassailable. He knows what his sales are. He knows what his customers are telling him. He knows what they're, mad about and why they aren't buying the books. And he expressed that, and he expressed it in a non-hateful way and just a very matter-of-fact but passionate way. And the only person who, if you would have told me that I would have woke up today and the two people that I thought were being the best people today in the comic book industry were Mark Miller and Gail Simone, I would have said you were crazy. If they were on the same page in defending this guy, I would have said you were crazy. But there they were. So kudos to Mark, who I think always has great takes and really cares about this stuff. And kudos to Gail for coming out and standing against her peers and actually defending this guy.
Yeah, we're still seeing getting more and more from Mark. It's just that we're getting more and more support from him. The more as the months go along, which is like I really feel like he's because it seemed like he was kind of imitating Switzerland for the longest time. Just didn't really say anything. He was just kind of in the middle. But now it's like he's really showing his real true colors, and it's great.
Well, he was busy buying a castle with all of his success. He was too focused on his success to be in the trenches of a bunch of people eating cat food and seeing what they were bitching about. But now he's turned his attention back to his love of comics, and he's starting to notice all of the insanity that's going on.
I love it. And yes, he really did buy a castle-esque type property, and then did a stream on Wes's channel shortly after moving in, and his wife threw a house party when he was doing the stream. So great time. He was like, I can only stick around for an hour. I was like, oh, okay, that works. We do have a comment here. Oh, come on. There we go. How many people shitting on this LCS owner would be otherwise opposed to body shaming? See, that's the thing. A lot of the people that are coming out and talking shit about his physical appearance are the very people that are like preaching love and we shouldn't do this and SJW and be accepting and diversity and why do all superheroes have to look ripped? Same people. So it just makes you want to scream.
You know why this guy could use some dental work? Because he's been selling your books for the last 10 years. That's why. Absolutely.
Look, even my LCS, it's another store where they have been around for 30 years. And I made a comment about being on vacation, and we have a very natural, close relationship. And Dave, my LCS owner, was like, "Oh, vacation. I think the last one I had was 9 years ago." But he was being honest. And these people do this because they love this medium. They love comics. Because you're definitely not making. I mean, in some instances, you make decent money out of it. But if you're just a standard comic shop owner, you're not making crazy money. You're getting by. So yeah, it's crazy.
He's got some good books. He's got some good books on the back wall in that picture.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, some great X-Men. Yeah, I love it.
Fear Monarch, another day, another instance. I'm glad I don't bother with Twitter and the similar anymore. Look, you're probably smart. But Drew should totally join Twitter. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't recommend it, Drew.
Do it, Drew.
The reason that I stay is because there are some really cool people on there that you get to talk to. You do have a lot of fan interaction on there. But there are a lot of assholes. And I think the main reason that I stay is just to hold back the tide of assholes.
Listen, just ignore Aaron and listen to me. Join, you little bitch. Okay.
It's like you're on there already.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Pretty much. We got Jay Diggs. Are they really comic pros if they don't know how to write comics? You make a compelling argument, Jay.
That's why I usually do the pros.
Yeah. Bros. Yeah, we got LK coming in. What was first? Hey, shut up, you bigot and or ist or phobe. If you don't like these, go away. They aren't for you. If you don't like my politics, don't read my comics. You aren't our customer. Now those same creators are e-begging. You mean for a laptop or to pay their rent or
just for food? Just for food this week?
Yeah, but let's go buy a guitar,
Or
here's an idea.
I want to get a hotel room in California. Can you pay for it that weekend for me, please?
Here's an idea for Danny Lore this week. Stop tweeting about Palestine, something you have no idea about, and go fill out some job applications. Go work in a grocery store. Go hit up McDonald's. Go make a living. Make a living on your own without begging people to buy you groceries.
Yeah. Real quick, we do have Jana in the house. Sup, boners? What's up, Miss Jana? And we also have Flaccid. Jana, how the hell do you have a wrench? Look, diversity hire, brother. Okay, diversity hire. Just leave it alone.
Why do I always laugh like I'm 12 when Jana comes in and says, "Sup, boners"?
Sup boners. I love Jana. We also have Jay again. Comic books are like bad dates now. You go to a shitty restaurant and don't talk about anything. Drew, you know about that. Not because you're writing it, but because you're reading multiple. I had to clarify because you're reading it.
What? Because
every week.
Drew goes on a lot of shitty dates. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of truth to that. I've been on a lot of shitty dates, and I have read a lot of shitty comics. So yeah, it's pretty accurate right there. I will attest to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I have not. Yeah.
Murphy, I am drinking out of my Dallas Fan Expo wild Pecos Pete's. So right. I wouldn't have been able to use it this weekend. I was kicking myself because I was like, "Oh, Wild Bill's is here," and if I would have brought my cup, I could have just had like free soda all weekend because that's what I need is free soda. But I guess it was Wild Bill's that was there.
Pay like $20 to get the pass for that weekend to fill your cup up.
Hmm. And man, if we make use of it.
Up to like $60 now.
Oh man.
You're making a fortune. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Josh is frozen. Look at his picture.
It's like Mick Jagger.
Am I still frozen? Is that a yes or a no?
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was dancing like an idiot. So that's great.
Josh, is your internet run by like two hamsters on a wheel and one occasionally gets off of it and you're like, get back on there. I'm streaming.
I mean, pretty much. Like, I don't think people understand. I'm out in the sticks. Like, I'm in the sticks. So.
And one hamster spinning that last disc of America Online. It's on its last hour right now.
Yeah. Anytime you see me like muting myself, it's because I'm yelling at my dog to run faster.
Poor little guy.
We do have a question. Has anyone else seen the trailer for the documentary Surviving Comics? I have not.
I've not either.
I need to look that up. Yeah. I'll look that up, LK. Well, we might talk about that next week or maybe on Sunday, depending on what Max has planned. Another one from Jay. My 15-year-old is making more than professional comic book writers. That ain't right. I mean, it's funny because it's true, and no, it's not right, and it's honestly not funny. It's sad, but I would say current writers probably don't deserve more than what they're actually making. But we're also not getting quality writers and good writers because of the pay rates. Subtle Deviancy hopping in. I'm creating a superhero with the looks of Josh, the brains of Sparrow, the shoulders of Zax, the charisma of Jay, and Sailor Mouth of Murphy. Sounds like a hit to me. So,
taking notes.
Yeah, take notes. Take notes.
Did you celebrate the Kickstarter campaign? Yeah.
I do have a comment now that's going to segue into the follow up to this, and it's you shut down Donny Cates, and that's directed to Aaron.
Yep.
Because Mr. Donny Cates decided he wanted to, like the dude has been gone for like a year. He disappeared. And look, I'm going to preface this with there is plenty of things that all of us could say about Donny Cates that we have information on or data on or know that he did or has done
pictures of
videos of, and we're going to hold it close to our chest because we're respectful people. I will throw out the what's widely, I don't want to say widely known, but what's public information because it happened in public. The dude's got some problems. He's struggling with some demons. He's got some addiction problems going on. And I think I will praise comic book media, which is typically bottom feeders looking for whatever they can get their hands on to get clicks. But they showed a lot of grace that when Donnie was having public meltdowns for stuff, they didn't kick him in while he was down.
Let me ask you this, though.
Yeah.
If it would have been Ethan Van Sciver having these meltdowns, would Rich and Heidi and all of the comic book journalists have held their pens?
Absolutely not.
No. And no, not. They wouldn't have. And look, I'm not saying that's right to treat someone differently. I'm just saying in this instance, they made what I think is the right call. I think if you see someone and they are struggling with something, I think the worst thing you can do is just dogpile them with bullshit from a media gossip type, like if someone is desperately going through something, I think the right thing to do is like give them their space. Hopefully they'll go off on their own and try to fix things. It seemed that Mr. Cates may have been doing that. It turns out he has not been doing that. But he decided to remake his public appearance and start trashing this comic book shop owner. So I've got a few tweets here. But the first one is going to be the top left. Don't you guys hate, and we'll touch on Aaron because Aaron responded to this one, but he's like, don't you guys hate when you go into a hardware store, how the guy behind the counter always tells you how much hammers suck? Okay.
Shitty analogy, but okay.
Shitty analogy, but it was just the brazenness of like, he has not been on Twitter, has not been public, and then decides to come out and then resurface with this. It's like, dude, what are you doing? But Aaron, you had a nice little response to this. So
yeah, I said that I do like it when I go to the hardware store and the hardware store owner tells me which hammers are of low quality. then later I expanded on that and I said I do like it when the hardware owner because Jamal Eigel was trying to make the point that hey, as a comic book retailer or as a retailer, the first rule, which by the way, this guy violates all the rules of retail all the time by insulting customers. He decided to put on his retail hat, and he said that the first rule is that you tell the customer that everything's great because that you're in the business of selling it. But what else? The other thing that doesn't happen at the hardware store, when I ask where the hammers are, they don't take me to the screwdriver section and tell me that they're hammers. They don't bait and switch me. So, this identifies as a hammer. So just buy this. So, it's just another one of those stupid things. But I responded with that. And then someone asked me who Donnie Cates was. And I was feeling not charitable because he tried to jump in on the digital lynch mob. And I said, he's a guy who's currently between car accident binges. And then he took exception to that and said that I shouldn't be, how could I say that to somebody I've never even met? And the point was, you just did that to a comic book retailer.
Also, y'all have met.
And we have met, yes. I'm not surprised you never remember. We have met. I have some stuff signed by him. We've met a couple of times.
Yeah.
One thing, real quick, the comic book store owner accused a lot of these creators of doing, like writing themselves into a character. Donnie did this. I told you guys that when we were texting with one another, Donnie did this in his series Vanish for Image Comics. The main character who was enduring a substance abuse issues as well as going through marital problems, that was Donnie. I mean, he was writing himself as the main character in this damn book during all this drama he was going through. It's like, there you go.
Yeah, it was almost like he needed to, it's like sometimes people will use art as a form of therapy and they just need to get something out and they get it out and they're good. And it's like you would hope that would have been the case here, but it wasn't the case. I mean, yeah.
It's also different when you create your own story and you build a character that's based on troubles that you are experiencing or you have experienced, and that's the story that you want to make with your character. Not taking a character that everybody already knows and loves that's been around for 60 years and saying, I'm going to tell my story through this character, because that's never going to be you. Even if that's how you see yourself, like everybody in the world sees you differently, I promise you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Aaron had retweeted and commented on the hammer comment, and then I took particular dislike to his follow-up comment in his original thread, which was, side note, I absolutely did write myself into a comic book and it sold like a motherfucker. So this is specifically pointing out when that video of the comic shop owner was saying, like, don't come in and write yourself as Tony Stark, don't come in and write yourself as Captain America. If you want to do that, create your own book with your own character and do it that way, but don't get upset if no one buys it. It's because nobody cares.
Yeah, now, which is Donnie may be saying it's so like a motherfucker. He's probably talking about crossover, but I can attest to that. That had thousands of variants, thousands of gimmick covers, and I do know for a fact Comics Elite has long boxes of unsold copies of crossover, even the ones he signed along with Megan Hutchinson Cates.
And I will also say the whole point of crossover was it potentially bringing all these different brands together. Like that was the the talk of the time, was that it's going to pull so many different things from different publishers, different genres, different film. Like it was all going to end up showing up in this book. So there was more to it than just himself. But it seems like he was, being a little cheeky with this and threw that out there. And I wanted to be sassier than I was. But I pretty much just left it at like, listen, you're not in the space to like be coming back and making comments like this and starting fights with fans or comic book shop owners. And I pretty much said, you're still in a like trying to win back goodwill phase. Like you're still doing damage control. And he had a snarky ass comment like, oh, thanks a lot, bro. Noted. And I was like, yeah, cool story, bro.
Well, that and the snarkiness, it's like, you think that, you said to me that, he wouldn't wish what he went through on his worst enemy. I don't wish it on you either, Donnie. And I responded with that. I said, I'm on the record as saying that I hope that you got over your issues. I hope that you were able to fix your life. And I will say this, I think Donnie is a talent. And I think that as far as in the last several, in the last decade of comic book writers, Donnie is a rock star. And his good friend Jamal Igle will get upset that I use the term rock star because we don't need rock stars according to Jamal Igle. But Donnie was a rock star in the in the comic book industry. Unfortunately, he started living like a rock star, and he hit rock bottom like a rock star, and he messed up his own life like a rock star. And we are very forgiving to have you come back, but the way to come back is not to jump in with the likes of Jamal Igle and try to white knight. I mean, we know you like being on the white horse, but the idea is not for you to jump back in and try to be this white knight and try to re-ingratiate yourself with the terrible people that are insulting the retailers now, who told us for years that we weren't their customers, the retailers were their customers. And now they're insulting the retailers because the retailers gave an unfortunate truth that your books are not selling. Your propaganda is not selling.
Yeah, and look, I'll back Aaron. We've both publicly kind of made comments about how we felt like if there was a rock star in the industry as within the past 5 to 10 years, it was Cates. The guy was a name. He drew people to comic book stores. His books were selling. They were selling better than most of the other top tier list books. He was doing well. But he let that kind of rock star mentality get to his head, started living that lifestyle. And Aaron's right. He completely ruined his life. Personal relationships were ruined. Relationships with his employers ruined. Relationships with potential employers ruined. Like this guy has ostracized himself. And it's one of those things like you want to see people, especially if they're talented, you want to see them do well. You want to see them, make a comeback. If you're a good person, that's what you're going to want to see. Do I think he's the best writer? No. Do I think he's talented? Yes. Do I want him to do well? Yes, because I think it helps the industry. So my hope,
and honestly, he might be a perfect, like when I met him, when I had him sign stuff for me, he was nice. I know that you can't take that one interaction to judge who he is as an entire person, but I like to believe the best of people. I want to see him get his life together. But another big problem that Donnie has is that he got caught up into that mentality of attacking the fans. And he had crazy fans that came after him for ridiculous things. And you can even go back and see me defending him on Twitter when, you had those lunatics shipping Venom and the symbiote and demanding that Donnie make it a sexual relationship between Eddie Brock and the symbiote. You can go back and find me defending him. So the people that he caters to, and the people that Jamal Igle caters to are people that will turn on them in a moment. And the people like us that he's fighting with are the people that will forgive him, will, welcome him back and celebrate his success when he gets over his problems and when he comes back and he makes a triumphant return. We're the ones who will champion him. So, it's all about who you want to associate with.
Yeah. I will say, so he did this original tweet kind of trashing the guy. It did not go the way he thought it was going to go. A lot of the fans jumped in and started kind of going after Donnie for going after this comic shop owner. And it led to him the next day posting apparently people are not loving my reply, and that's okay. Allow me to double down. What are you doing, man? And this first response is honestly a pretty balanced response, but he couldn't stop and he had to keep going. And he goes through and he basically ends it saying like this, this guy's been a comic shop owner for over 30 years. He seems like he should have a good knowledge of comics, and he chose what little bit of time he had in front of the camera to dissuade people from buying the product that he sells instead of selling to someone he does like. And it's just like, it's such a bad faith argument of not even taking the time to understand who this person is, what they do, that they have their own channel, and just going right back for I'm going to trash this person because I disagree, and I'm taking your comment as a personal attack. And it's like, again, you've had very public meltdowns that did not look well for you. You kind of created an embarrassment of yourself within the industry. You disappear, people hoping you're getting better, and then you come back, and this is how you decide to come back. Is this, and it's not good. And then on top of it, during this, he decides to do a Q&A with fans on Twitter in between all of this like rigmarole for this. Yeah. So he doesn't ask me anything, and of course, someone comes in and asks a question about like, hey, I know you seem kind of down. How are you and your ex-wife or soon to be ex-wife? And he's like, I really don't like this question. Well, then one, don't do a Q&A, ask me anything. But two, don't respond if you don't want to answer it. But then you
ask me. I'm going to do an
ask me anything, not answer anything.
Yeah. I'm going to do an ask me certain things.
But then go
ask me one of these multiple choice questions.
Yeah. And look, I will say I'm open to people having whatever beliefs that they have, personally, faith-wise. But there's one thing that I'm like, if you say it, there's no looking good to the general public. So someone asked during this Q&A, do you renounce Satan and all his works and empty promises? And he comes back with, honestly, I've not found them too empty or to be so empty. And I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, trying to come back, trying to win goodwill again from mainly the comics industry. I think some fans are kind of clueless to everything that happened. If you were at San Diego Comic-Con, you probably saw him have a meltdown either on the convention floor, in the booth, or at the hotel, among the other police reports you could look up. But then coming in and being like, yeah, I'm a Satanist.
I felt that, like, I kind of chuckled at that because, to me, that was kind of like one of those moments, like in Ed Wood, when they ask Bunny Breckenridge, played by Bill Murray, do you renounce Satan and all of his works? And the way he kind of goes, sure. It always makes me laugh, and so like I kind of took this at the same way. But after everything else, I can see how people would be upset by it. And this, if he was showing any humility, people might have taken that as like, yeah, you did get a lot from Satan, didn't you? You got a lot of success, and but look at the cost. Like, it could have been a funny bit, but after everything else, it just rings so kind of like arrogant and unlikable, and I don't think that's the way he intended it. But I don't think that any of this went off the way he intended it.
No, I mean the timing was awful to take, and I understand where his head was at on like, oh, people are responding to me, they're looking at me, okay, ask me anything, let's keep the ball rolling, let's keep that engagement going. I personally love this response. That's something that I would say, like, it's funny to me. But as a creator, you look at the handle of the person asking you this before you say anything, and you use that in your reply. Like, this is something I would say to someone at a con if they came up to me and we were just kind of talking and they asked me that. But I wouldn't if they were dressed as a nun, like, seriously. Right. Or if they have a cross that's like very pronounced. Like, my beliefs are my beliefs. But as a creator, I try to keep that stuff, like, pretty close to me. Like, I don't talk about politics. I don't talk about almost anything like that publicly or on Facebook, social media, anything, because it's only going to drive people away from you. No matter what side you're on, it's always going to be a negative to somebody. And Catholic and comics asked you about Satan.
One more sentence
to make this joke too.
One more sentence, and this could have been so, like, tragic and apropos and almost beautiful with everything that he's struggling with, is he could have said, honestly, I've not found them to be so empty, but the price is pretty high. Like you could have said something like that, and that would have completely reframed what you were doing. It still would have been funny, but it would have shown some humility. It would have shown that, like, you are trying to get your life back together, and that's
Right.
that's what we want. That's what we want for him. We don't want him to be like living on the streets and strung out and doing God knows what to get his next fix. We want him to be healthy. We want him to get over it, and we want him to get back to creating things and that make him happy and that make fans happy.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that I typically hate like politically correct answers, but to Murphy's point, there's a time and a place to say things, and there's also a matter of knowing your audience. It's two points she made, which I'm 100% in agreement with. At the same time, like when you're trying to make a comeback, this is a time where you play it as safe as possible. And even if you don't want to answer the question, you can answer the question without answering it and just say something like, I'm learning and I'm growing. Did you answer? Hell no, you didn't answer. But at least you're not going to have people pissed off about this, because I've seen people retweeting this tweet specifically being like, what the fuck, dude? So it is what it is. We do have some comments that I'm going to run through real quick, and then we're going to do some more drawings. Fear Monarch, you would think, or you think you wouldn't have money for addictions like that being a comic pro. Again, he was kind of that rock star status. His books were selling. He was getting residuals off stuff. He was making good money.
He was getting bad advances.
Venom was huge. Venom was a #1 book at Marvel. There's a reason why, and it kicked ass. The reason why there's 2 events based around that, and why he was put on Thor, then Hulk, because he was the rock star, and he said he was getting residuals. He was making rock star money, and he earned it. He really did.
The appeal for me for what Donnie brings to the table as far as a creative is that I think that he's in the upper echelon of some of the amazing pros that we've had in the industry. No, not yet. Does he have the potential? Certainly. Almost everybody does. Who has who knows their stuff. Donnie's stuff was fun in the sense that it felt like he was just smashing action figures together. Like his writing reminded me of like, wouldn't it be cool if, but within the realm of the characters and their personalities. It wasn't just, wouldn't it be funny if, wouldn't it be cool if, and that totally violates everything that's there. He had an ability to look at things and come up with ideas of like, wouldn't it be fun? Wouldn't this be, isn't this kind of like the next logical step? Like kind of this out of the box thinking. And it really did feel like, just a kid playing with his action figures, but in all the best ways. And I think that's what he brought. And he brought that kind of like enthusiasm behind it. Yeah, so it's a shame to see him, somebody who has that childlike ability to fall into kind of this cynicism of insulting the fans and of being snarky when, I think that, if he allowed himself to tap into the best part of his nature, the part that I think makes his comics appealing, I think that the sky's the limit. I think he could come back and eventually he could mend all the fences that he's broken down and, be back to making really good money and then hopefully be more mature and more able to handle all that success.
Yeah, he kind of has that ability that Jeff Johns had to come in and take something that felt like it was fully fleshed out, fully established, and then find little pockets of areas where it's like, we can expand so much if we do this and just create like decades worth of stories that would carry on. So yeah, and look, someone made a comment earlier, like, oh, the reason they didn't, trash him is because, he's friends with them. And yeah, I do think that played a part in it. But I think from an industry standpoint, there's a need for a Donny Cates, someone of that caliber coming in selling comics the way they're selling. And I think that's also part of the reason they didn't want to do it. As much as they talk about, oh, sales don't matter and don't like whatever, yada, yada, sales are great. Like they need sales. They know they need sales and they know they need people like this to deliver those sales. So I think there was a hope there of like, let's not tarnish his name. Let's see if we can quietly get this resolved and help him and then let him come back and just keep slamming it out. It's not the case.
And I'll roast him. I'll give him the tough love, man.
Oh, 100%.
100%. But at the same time, if he hit me up, if he sent me a DM and he was like, hey, do you want to get on the phone and talk? I'll talk to him all day. I'll talk him through whatever he wants to talk about. I genuinely, like I said, he doesn't think we've ever met, but I have met him a few times. And, just as a general human being, I actually care. So, a lot of people that pretend to be your friends don't actually give a shit about you. I'm pretty much a complete stranger, and I probably care more about you and your well-being than they do. So as I know Josh would, as I know any of us would.
Yeah. Fear Monarch put, laugh out loud, I bet he was hoping someone would ask about him returning to comics. There were questions kind of alluding to that, questions about kind of storylines that didn't get wrapped up. And this was part of the problem I had too. His response was very much like, oh, it's coming, just wait. And I'm like, dude, you're definitely not writing for Marvel anymore. Like that ship has sailed. 30 years from now, maybe, but anytime in the near future, it will not happen. DC, probably the same. Don't expect to see him at DC. There's going to be conditions if he works for DC, and that's not going to happen. It was strange, and it's that lack of awareness and that lack of what kind of Aaron mentioned earlier, humility or just kind of owning to that, like the fact that you're not owning up to the fact that you messed up and you made some mistakes and you had some bad decisions, but you're trying to play it off as if nothing ever happened. Look, that's shitty to the people you work with. It's shitty to your fans, even if your fans don't know the full context. The people that you work with that were, expecting regular work because they were on a book with you, now is not happening because you can't act like an adult and do your job and show up and do what's expected of you. That's shitty for them.
Stegman and Otley, the two big name artists, he screwed over because of that.
Yep. We have the one, the only, the incredible Eric Breen in the house. Donnie Cates would not have stood out in any era prior to 2012.
I mean, I think he could have found his niche. It was a different. Yeah. I understand where Breen's coming from, and Breen is the wise, learned comic scholar in our group, and so I definitely defer to him. I think he could have found his footing. I think that he would have been mentored by editors who actually knew what they were doing, as opposed to the type of editors that Marvel has working there today. So I think that they could have channeled his energy, and I think he could have really, I think he could have.
Yeah. We also have Zach's here with, has Donnie Cates ever been to a hardware store? That's a good question. Maybe, possibly.
See, I've got like a million responses, and I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to kick.
Same. Oh man. And then last but not least, we do have Eric Breen. I know a little bit about substance abuse, as I literally don't remember 2 years. It doesn't give you a license to be a dick. 100%. Yeah. And look, here's the thing, and I think this is what makes a difference. And Breen, I'd love to, if you want to add something else to this. It's one thing when you don't realize the harm that you're causing or the hurt you're causing because of your substance abuse, and then you find out, and then try to make yourself better, and you have that fight and you have that struggle, but at least people see you're trying. It's a different story when you have people telling you constantly over the course of 2 to 3 years how you're negatively impacting people and hurting people, and you just don't care. And I think words can be one thing, but when your actions vehemently say the opposite, you have to take some ownership at some point. And I really wanted to see him come back and bounce back. But this bounce back that he's having, I'm disappointed. I'll just put it that way.
Donnie, you need some real friends. You need some real friends, and real friends are people that will call you on your bullshit and love you anyway for your flaws and try and help you get better. So, man, I pray that you find that. I hope that you get some help and you get yourself together, and just listen to the better parts of your nature, man. And hey, you and I just had a tip on Twitter. It doesn't mean anything to me. If you need to reach out to somebody who is impartial and just want to hash it out or just talk about anything, yeah, my DMs are open, man. Yep,
same. And kind of like to what Aaron said. Look, I have had people that I would say I've hated, like genuinely hated, and I've seen that they've been in actual need, and I've been willing to help people or support or whatever it might be. Because even if I disagree with something you've done or how you've carried yourself, if I see that you want to make yourself better or change, I'm going to support that 100% however I can. One of the things that I kind of learned, interesting family relationships growing up, for me personally. But one of the things I learned from my dad and that I kind of picked and carried with me is it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. All I care about is what you're doing now and going forward. And that's kind of my mindset there. But enough of the kind of heavier topics. Let's get back to now that we've talked about suicide, addiction, and how treating people terribly is fun. Let's raffle off some art.
Hey!
Bring out the bright and colorful page.
Yeah.
And for this next image,
Murphy's gonna bring out this page. She's not gonna discuss religion or politics. She's not gonna get. She's not gonna color the work by being divisive.
The next image we're giving away is a character slitting his wrist. Oh, fuck.
It's actually of a camel eating a bad date and hallucinating. So there we go.
Boom. That one?
Yes.
I really like this
Okay,
one.
so you have to explain this, Drew.
Oh, it's just another example of like animals talking. Is a sequel to the first one, but this time with camels. And this one is just a camel that sees a bad date, and another camel there eating a camel spider. And it's like, hey, this still looks delicious. And the one's like, yeah, sure, that sounds like a good idea. And the one eats it and starts hallucinating. But it gets trippy on the very next page. But yeah, this one we just like, let's just make it weird. So we did.
What 1, 2, 3, 4 the fourth panel, the giant eyeball that takes over the whole head. I love that. Fantastic imagery. All right. So this is still the second giveaway of 131 backers. So if we draw a number over 131, it's going back in the hat.
The winner is number 163.
163, you're going back in the hat.
Number
Oh, you were almost a winner.
72.
Number 72. All right, let's see. Ryan, congratulations, backer number 72. You have won the second piece of original art.
Yeah, it was published in here. And
you brought that? I didn't know you brought it.
Yeah, 2017. I brought the first one too. For that one.
Wait, what was it originally published in? Show it again, Drew.
2017's Comic Book in a Day edition, Volume 1.
Hell yeah.
I like that.
Hell yeah. All right, congrats, Ryan. We're going to go ahead and do another drawing. Just to let me know, are we going with the third sketch?
Yep. If camels aren't your thing.
Well, camels may not be my thing, but camel toes are.
All right, this is the other character. So the first two sketches from Aurelio were both of Arachnid. Do you want to talk a little bit about who this is?
Yeah, this is Jenny. Jenny's the undercover police officer in the issue of Unholy Nightmare, and this is her experiencing her transformation into a she-wolf. And she gets wild and crazy in the first issue. There's going to be a lot of torn limbs and maybe some decapitations, but I'll leave that for when the first issue comes out. But yeah, he wanted to do one that's kind of sexy of her transforming, and I was like, yeah, man, go for it. And he nailed it.
Well, and I thought this was going to be a cover because he didn't go through and do the ink blotting and like the shading on the first two. So when he sends it to me, I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, I'll set this. When is it getting colored? And he's like, no, this is a giveaway. No, why?
Yeah, but can it also be a cover? Like,
that's not a bad idea. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about where Unholy Nightmare is going next, or are we keeping that under? Oh, we can keeping that secret.
We can talk. Let's talk about that after the last giveaway. How about that? Let's do it after the last giveaway.
Well, let me say this. I think Drew, that as you get close to publication, I think that you should do like a second chance offer, maybe with a new cover or something. That's just me, just spitballing.
Well, we're going to talk about that here after the next giveaway, the next round of giveaways, the last round. We're gonna bring that up. The number is 61.
61. And this is now all backers have a chance to win this and the next 2 giveaways. And that is
my buddy, my childhood friend, Eamon Clark. He won. Eamon won that.
rigged.
Rigged.
Is he the one that you did the comic with?
No.
Oh, okay. Congratulations,
I'm gonna
Eamon.
text him right now. Hey man, you just won. You just won the sketch.
We need to make this like those playing cards, or not the playing cards, but the greeting cards that when you open it, music plays. You can like open this, and we should have Shakira, She-Wolf. You know, come on, Drew. You know you want to.
Can I be the guy that just yells Shakira's name in the background?
Shakira, Shakira. I'm a she-wolf in the closet. Ow! Yeah, come on. You know you want to. Listen, Murphy, all I'm gonna say is the next time you're pulling shit together, I'm available. Like I'll come sing some songs for some stuff.
I mean, that should just be a voice clip that you use whenever you have a woman on stream.
We have a lady on the stream, but I'm still the she-wolf. Suck it, biatch. Should we do 2 more? Do we want to go ahead and go through? I don't know. I want to respect y'all's time.
Yeah, we can.
Yes, we can do the last 2. After we do the last 2, we can talk about make the announcement. Yeah.
All right, so we have one more original art page.
Yes. So
okay, hold please. Oh, original art page. I believe it is this one.
Yes, this one. Yes, this is the Kenna and I. This is when we won best comic of the year for this we were voted best comic. It was so I wasn't a fan of squirrels growing up in our backyard because they loved attacking the bird feeders and messing with the bird baths.
The whole needing to run thing is starting to make a little bit more sense.
So
you're squirrely.
Yes, that's very true. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah. We wanted to really get this out in a story, and these different squirrels with different sizes, and the messing with food and the birdhouses, and it turned out to be a fun story, and we won best original comic in that year. So,
I like just the very last line. Yeah. We get creative, Dave. All right, so every single backer has a chance to win. It's their second to last drawing.
Yes.
Who's it going to be? The
winner is 125.
125 are Jesse. Congratulations, backer 125. You have won an original art page of Drew's comic of the year. And we've got one last drawing.
Yes.
One last drawing.
This one is really special because we were not expecting this, and Aurelia was like, should I do a Hulk? Should I do like the 90s Superman who's overpowered by so much solar power? I was like, that's kind of that's a deep pull, man. I don't know, but like let's just do the Golem. Let's go ahead and do the Golem. And he said, we was like, all right, let's do this. And he nailed it. And I love this, and I cannot wait to write this with Aaron when we get the chance to write the backstory on this character. It's gonna be awesome. But whoever gets this is getting the first drawn edition of the Golem, who will be appearing in Unholy Nightmare #2.
Have you guys announced like that Aaron is part of the team yet? Yeah.
Yep.
Welcome, Aaron. All right. Last one. The
ready? Winner. Yes, I'm ready to do this. Let's do this. The winner of the Golem, first drawn Golem for Unholy Nightmare #2 is number 36 in a row.
36. Erie.
Erie.
Erie. Congratulations, backer number 36. You have won the surprise giveaway. Woo! And so this is a good time to mention. So the last sketch that we showed, Aaron, you asked, why can't it be a cover? Well, I met a creator at New York Comic Con this year that wrote a comic book that I read the entire thing while I was in the airport waiting to take my very, very delayed flight home. I didn't know we'd be talking about this. I'm sorry. I would have been prepared. Axe Wielder John.
Oh, yeah.
It's an incredible book. The interior art is just amazing. He did all of it. He did all the interior art himself with just the smallest type of that inker pen that you can use. The entire book is done with it. And it is just gorgeous. So I was at New York Comic Con. That was the first weekend that was actually my big announcement about Krowd Control. So I was there to go and talk to creators and see if I can start working up a client list. And, I'd people that had books that I thought were good, that I thought, needed a wider audience. I'd ask them question, well, have you thought about crowdfunding? And he and his friend there started to just school me on this campaign that they did. This campaign that they did $200,000 on a platform I had never heard of called Zoop. Zoop is focused on comics. It is for comics, and this is the thing that I'm most excited about, is it's not driven by Cheesecake Comics the way that Kickstarter is. It has a wide array of genres. There's action, there's horror, there's everything that you could want on there. And so immediately, actually, funny enough, ran into Drew at the show like moments after meeting this guy. And the first thing I was like, we have to bring Unholy Nightmare here. Like it's the perfect, Unholy Nightmare is a great project for me to be able to try out this new platform that I'm like very interested in. So now that we're fully funded on Kickstarter, Backer Kit pre-order store is going to be coming out, and anyone can back the comics there. But at some point in the next couple months, we are going to be bringing Unholy Nightmare as our first project to go live on Zoop. We are going to have some new covers. We'll have all different push rewards, which we didn't even talk about. Everyone's comics are going to be signed for free by Dolan. But yeah, we're gonna try this new platform that is really, really catered towards creators like Drew and like me, and I'm really excited about it. So keep your ears open. We'll be announcing more information on that probably in the new year. Yeah. But that's our big announcement.
That's amazing. I didn't even know this. This is a surprise to me. So
I literally just welcomed you to the team 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't get the memo?
I didn't get the memo.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to we've got backers number 91, 56, 119, 72, 61, and 125. Congratulations. If you saw those original art sketch cards by Aurelio and you thought, holy shit, this guy's an amazing artist, number one, you're right. Number two, go on the campaign. So Unholy Nightmare #1 on Kickstarter. Here within the next week, there will be a pre-order store link. If you missed the campaign, you can go in and you can buy a sketch commission there. If you did back the campaign and you didn't pick up one of those commissions, they're limited to only 10. They will be available in the Backer Kit survey, so go and grab those before they're gone. That is supporting Aurelio directly. Same thing with buying the original art pages. Yep. So that is, this is a passion project for him and Drew. Yeah. We made 6,200 on the campaign, and that is
67, I think.
6,700, yeah. And that is going towards making this comic. Like we're not doing this passion project for profit. We're like that all that funding is going into making this comic, and right now the bulk of that work is on Aurelio's shoulders. So whatever we can do to help support him, like that's our biggest goal right now, is to make sure Aurelio has everything that he needs to be able to take the time to make this what's going to be a kick-ass comic. Yeah, now I'm watching my language.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
I will also say, I was honored enough to get to launch or do the launch stream for Unholy Nightmare. And one of the things that I loved about it was just getting to hear Aurelio and Drew, or Dolan, Dolan, Aurelio and Dolan talk about how they came up with the story, what inspired it, what their influences were. So if you want to learn more about the book itself, we've got a great stream that kind of knocks down a lot of those topics. And it's worth checking out because it's going to make you excited. And Aurelio's just a peach. Like, that guy's a gem. You're going to listen to that man with his little Italian accent and fall in love.
He's such a humble little sweetheart.
Yes.
And I don't mean that in like in a diminutive way at all. We all love Aurelio. I had worked with him previously and brought him on to Born of Blood, and then he and Drew he and Dolan just bonded, and he and Jay Bauman over there, became the Mike Stacklasa and Jay Bauman of comics. And decided to do this book. And when Drew first started telling me about it, I was super psyched about it. We've had some great support, Josh, from you, from Max, obviously. I just knocked my mic over. You, Max, have been great. Jeff Hicks over at World Class Bullshitters had us on. Wes, of course. Like, everybody's just been really supportive. And all of you guys in the chat have made it happen. So we're absolutely thrilled. I can't wait. Tomorrow I'm going through everything on my end, all the scripts and everything for this in the outline for number 2. And I can't wait. It's going to be great.
Hell yeah. We do have Hellmouth with sending congrats to the winners. I think congrats to Dolan and Aurelio and Murphy as well. Like, Murphy, unsung hero in a lot of this.
She made the campaign really look like a peach. It really is beautiful, and really why I went to her, because she knows what she's doing, and she made it look beautiful. And compared to any other campaign on Kickstarter, they all look like a bum put it together. So yeah.
Also, because people may not have connected these dots, but Murphy's not even just great like with organizing these things. If you ever read Miss Meow, of course my internet starts dropping out. Fuck you, internet.
It's like no.
If you ever read Miss Meow, these two right here are the creative. Oh, yep. See,
that's my girl right there.
Yep.
So
yeah, I'll talk your ear off about Krowd Control. I'll talk your ear off about Kickstarter. I can build you a Shopify store. That's my business that I'm creating, and it's going well. I quit my day job that I got to go all in on it. I'm super excited, but I am even more excited to get to start making comics again, because that is my big mission next year, and some stuff is already in the works. I don't have anything to announce, and I won't for a little bit, but we're all here for this.
Yeah.
Not Death Rage specifically, but this is why we're all here. We all love comics. We love to read comics, and making comics is the greatest thing I've ever done in my life. And so it's
been a childhood dream of mine to do it, and I'm doing it now. I love it.
Absolutely. Working on Miss Meow and Death Rage with Murphy, Death Rage in particular, because we both really just had a lot of fun with that series. Was absolutely spectacular. I'd never actually written something with somebody before, so it was a whole new kind of experience. Like, I mean, obviously when I worked on Darkwing, James had his input, but I'd never had and he was really good about bringing in jokes and scenarios and things like that. But I would actually sit down and physically write out the whole script. And with Miss Meow and Death Rage, Murphy and I would always be going back and forth and bouncing ideas off of each other. And it was a lot of fun. So I'm so happy, Murphy, to see you branching out and doing more stuff and getting back into this ridiculous business full time again. You fool! What have you done?
I know. Hey, you know what? We've talked a lot about the comics, the state of the industry. I have, through Krowd Control, I've talked to retailers, I've talked to publishers, I've talked to just, creatives. I've talked to a lot of different people that are in the comic industry, and everyone has the same, everyone I've talked to has a very positive outlook. And the people that are making comics for the love of it, they're not stopping. They're not going away. They're just getting bigger. And eventually those voices are going to start being the ones that are loudest. And it's going to be talking about comics, talking about characters, and talking about stories, not the other bullshit that everyone gets distracted by. Like that's what I'm here to do. And there's so many people that are in that same position that they just want to make comics, and Kickstarter has given them a platform to be able to do it without having to go through all of the, you know, the rigmarole of finding a publisher, finding a distributor, finding all of that. Like indie comics are not the future. Indie comics are fucking now.
Yeah.
You want to sit down. You want to tell stories, and you want to, you want to like have great characters and things like that, and not have idiot publishers in the way with their big bag of bullshit or their agendas or, you know, all of their nonsense. You know, it's like I've worked for so many different companies. Every company ends up kind of being the same, you know, for the most part. It's really unfortunate because, you know, the people that really, the creatives that really want to drive this stuff, they end up getting hampered up by executives, and sometimes executives that think they're creatives, and that's actually the worst. But you know, it's just nice that now everybody's on an even playing field. They can't gatekeep you out of the industry. You can go and you can do your own stuff. You know, it's going to be a lot of work. You can do your own promotion and things like that. But all of you guys out there that are passionate about stories, passionate about characters, and want to make your own stuff, you know, the avenues are out there. And, you know, you got people like Murphey who are out there to help you do it. So.
I will even say,
and I don't know that I've even said this whole time. If you are interested in updating your Shopify store, or a brand new Shopify store, if you need help on your Kickstarter or your backer kit, mykrowdcontrol.com, where you can find me.
That is where you will be. That is where you will be finding Neil before Doomface when I launch it. So you know, I will. Murphy will be on that project. So
it looks so fun.
Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. Look. I know I've praised Unholy Nightmare a lot, and I know I've praised Neil before Doomface a lot, and I'm sure people are like, "Oh yeah, it's your friends, yeah, whatever." No, like I'm genuinely excited about both projects, just because I've seen elements of them. I've heard the discussions and the thoughts that went behind them, and where they plan to go, where they want to go, and both just seem like Unholy Nightmare seems like a bloody good time, and then Neil before Doomface. Like, I typically don't like comedy, and I'm super stoked because I want to read this because it's pretty damn perfect as far as comedy goes. So, and Murphy, you know, you jumped in, but I was going to be like, where can we find you if we want to do stuff? But no, you got it. I just want to make sure those bases were covered. And I was going to say, like, a lot of times when we're doing streams and we're talking about comics or talking about indie comics, or especially on Wes's channel, people will ask, like, hey, if I want to create comics, where do I get started? It might be worth, you know, I might come together with these guys and do a little kind of series of videos. If you have an idea, how can you kind of get it out there? And we might have to loop you in for one of the episodes to talk about the kind of the back end project of that. But there's so many ways and means to getting comic books made these days. And, you know, you might say, all I've got is an idea. I don't have money. I don't have an artist. There are still ways to make it happen. There are artists out there that are desperately trying to get discovered, and they're willing to do covers or pages or whatever just to have a portfolio. So we might have to kind of brainstorm and get, she's running. She either has to pee or she's getting something.
There's a ghost in my house, apparently. There's like a weird like knocking happening.
I thought it was your neighbors upstairs.
I did too, and then I thought my cat was stuck in my room. I don't know. I'm so sorry. That was so rude.
Good. No, listen, you do not have to apologize on this channel. That's for freaking sure. But yeah, no.
It's going to cause a little chaos while we're wrapping things up.
I do want to hit just a few more comments real quick because we're talking about creators. We do have another creator in the house, but we have Jesse Blaze with Blacklight District Studios. So hello, Jesse Blaze Snyder. How are you, sir? How's it going, everyone? I'm good. I think we're all good. We're having a pretty fun night.
Jesse just finished with a crowdfunder called the first issue of King of Kings.
Yes.
And he's got another crowdfunder coming up. And I guess, Murphy, since you're being our resident potty mouth today, you'd have to be the one to say the title.
Ooh. What is it?
Am
I supposed to know this?
I don't know if he's talked to you about it yet. I know that he's talked to you about like a couple of things here and there, but I don't know if he's pitched you on the project he's currently working on.
Jesse, you emailed me. I have been so busy. I am so sorry. I don't have that information.
Is that it?
fucking for our future. That's what they were doing upstairs.
Oh, hello. Well, if the floor's a knocking, I guess it's the roof. If the ceiling's a knock, wait. If the ceiling's a rocking, don't get fuck it. I don't know.
Ceiling's knocking, don't go talking.
Yeah, maybe. There was a knocking on the ceiling. Well, you know, look, don't
Jesse,
go investigate.
We gotta get you back on, brother. We gotta schedule a time when you're available to be on stream.
Absolutely. The other thing that I'll add too is you know, I spent probably a good year debating. Look, the first person that ever said, "Hey, you should create a YouTube channel," was Wes, and I was like, "Dude, fuck off! Like, I'm trying to get away from this. I just want to like hop onto someone else's stuff, not have to put a lot of work into it." And he kind of kept throwing it out there, and then Max joined in with, "You should create a channel," and then Zach's and I thought about it for a year, but I decided one of the things that I wanted to do was create what I refer to as the PBC platform, so pop culture platform, where the whole purpose is to showcase independent artists, independent works, get it out there, just try to create somewhere where they can get their story out there, or get in people's hands, or make sure they know about it. And again, still super small channel right now, but my hope is that over time I'll grow. And I think the one thing that, you know, Murphy, you said indie comics aren't the future, they're now. And that's my goal, is to just, the biggest struggle people have is getting their ideas into people's hands, making people aware of it. And I'm hoping that I can play a part in doing that. And I think you doing what you're doing gives people some peace of mind of, okay, I want to do this, and I've got the creative aspect down, but the operational aspect clueless. And that's where you can step in and say, hey, we got you. Like, tell us what you want. We'll craft a program around it. We'll get you going. So winning there. And I think it's something the industry needs. And I'm hoping that you find all the success with this, and that chumps like Drew can sell some books, like whatever.
Well, you know, it's all exciting. It's exciting and scary to go off and start something on your own, start a business. You know, right now I'm really focusing on like, okay, grow clients list. You know, I'm really just talking to creators. But you know, the biggest thing that we all need is like, you know, getting those projects out there once they're there. And so that's kind of like, you know, getting and talking to people, and really just like, I need to start just saying, sign up for my newsletter, because that's the big thing, is I want to make this campaign, but I also want to like ensure we get it in front of people.
Yes.
You know, and doing like you guys doing these channels like this, like that is a huge way to support the industry and creators, you know.
Agreed.
You're only indie if no one.
Yeah,
you're only indie for so long, I feel like, right?
Yeah, and checking out the numbers, like because Murphy created links for all of us, you know, to be able to track like what links people use to go to the campaign to back it. And YouTube was like number 3, number 4 for the links. So people were going through YouTube a lot to back the campaign. So.
Thanks.
Yeah, you go, girl. I do want to say, Shieldwall, hello, sir. Sorry, I'm just now seeing you. Have a great night. I appreciate you stopping in. Another person that kind of came in a little bit late was Cannoli. So Cannoli Sasquatch, hello, everyone. Sorry, Sassy held me hostage. Well, based on our Thanksgiving stream, which if you missed was a riot, we know that Sassy is in a naughty book reading club with Vex and Nadia and Jana. No, they're trying to get Jana involved. So I believe that she held you hostage 100%. She tied you up.
Sassy, I hope that the intro to every video that you do, Sassy, is from the SNL sketch where Phil Hartman was the head of Sassy magazine, and he kept just looking into the camera and going, "Sassy." I hope that that's somewhere in there, or like variations, like he'd be like, "I just stepped in a big pile of sassy."
we need to pull clips for sure. All right, it is getting late, and especially for Murphy and Drew, Dolan. My fucking internet, I swear, I'm gonna break my freaking laptop. I want to respect you guys because it's late there. We're pushing close to midnight for you guys. So I will kind of pass it to you. What are your final thoughts or statements? And make sure you let people know where they can find you if they want to find you, or if you want them to find you.
Well, like I said, mykrowdcontrol.com. If you would sign up for my newsletter, if you want to find out about, I have a lot of projects coming up. There's a lot of really cool comics coming to Kickstarter from creators that I had never heard of, creators that haven't put out stuff in a while, or creators that are putting out their first comic. If you want to find out about everything coming to Kickstarter, go sign up for my newsletter at mykrowdcontrol.com. I don't do Twitter, and I do Instagram, but I barely ever use it. So if you want to find out about really anything else, you can go find me on Facebook, Murphey Lidke, Luedke. Less cool than a handle, but that's my name.
I love it. Drew, what about you, sir?
You can find me on Facebook as Dolan Waddick, or on Instagram as Dolan_Waddick. Only thing I post are my projects. I'm posting pages, campaigns I'm working on. That's all you're going to get from me. That's it. Nothing else. And I've got a lot of projects coming out next year, specifically from Murat Michaels. There'll be 3 or 4, some of which I've shown you guys the OA for, that I cannot wait for them to get colored in your guys' hands, as well as Unholy Nightmare. So yeah, and if I haven't sold you yet on this book, let me know what I can do. Let me know what I can do to put you in this comic today.
Literally in the comic. There's
yes,
5 backers that are going to be in the comic, and I was really happy to see those. And 8 out of the 10 original art pages, or was it 10? Was it 10? It was 6.
Yeah.
So 4 out of those sold out on day 1 or day 2 within the first weekend. So if that was you guys that went in and supported those original art, those high end tiers, you guys helped us out so much, and we're so excited to draw you into the comic or get you those original art pages. Like seriously, you guys. MVPs, but not to say you came in on the $5 tier, $10 tier, also just as big of a thank you. Like I said before, if your friend has a Kickstarter and they're just starting out, that $5 backing seriously helps. Like
absolutely,
every single one,
every little bit helps in a campaign like this.
Yep.
Absolutely. And then make sure you've completed your contribution, or what was it that
backer kit? Yeah, go finish your pledge.
Yes.
Yeah, backer number 91.
Yeah.
You
want free art. Finish your pledge.
Yeah.
Listen, I won't say any names, but some idiot backed Born of Blood. And then when they're shipping it out, I'm like, dude, I haven't received my book yet. And I forgot to fill shit out.
Wait, I'll bet he sent that to me. I had to go look at it and then went, they haven't done their survey.
So once we finish the stream, look, I'm turning red. Once we finish the stream, I'm gonna go make sure I finish my shit. So yeah.
Anyways. If you're one of our 183 backers, look out. Keep an eye on the updates. Backer kit's gonna be ready to go sometime, probably next week. And when we send out those surveys, that's when you can get those sketch cards from Aurelio. Pick those up, limited to only 10.
Hell yeah.
He'll draw whatever you want.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Whatever.
All right. Mr. Alberto Magnifico, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter. It's right there on the screen, Aaron_Sparrow. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. I only promote my content and of course, dirty pictures of Josh that I've managed to obtain through. So I mean, I'm running my mouth all the time on Twitter. You can find me over there talking about pop culture, basically doing all the stuff that I do here on Max's channel and on with Wes on Thinking Critical. You can find me on Thinking Critical. I will be there Saturday for aficionados. I don't think there's anything else on my schedule that's superseding that. So I'll be there for that. Josh, are you there this weekend?
I will be there this weekend.
Awesome. So that ought to be fun. I'm looking forward to talking some more about LA Comic-Con and whatever else Wes has cooked up for us. And you can also find me on Instagram where I post pictures of my bearded dragon and various action figures and things that I buy.
Hell yeah. Drew, are you going to be on this weekend?
No, I was on a month straight promoting Unholy Nightmare, so I think I've used that up. But I will be doing the best of the week with Wes on Saturday, so that video should be going on Saturday night. And no, I do not fat shame store owners. I don't fat shame because I was fat myself. I was overweight in the Air Force. So yeah.
You also don't need a reason to not fat shame, especially store owners.
Yeah, you could just be a decent human being.
Yes,
Yeah, just
absolutely.
be nice.
Yes.
It's the lesson for tonight.
Yeah.
Indie comics are now and just be nice.
It takes so much energy to be an asshole. And it's just like, no, I can't do that.
No.
Boo! Spoken like a bunch of fucking chuds.
All right. Everyone, you have permission to shame Josh.
Yes, please. Please shame me.
Also, I just want to say thank you for having me on. This has been fun.
Hell yeah, we'll have to get you on. So one of the things that I'm preparing for next year, God, my freaking internet. Every time I start talking, a little like antenna thing pops up with like one dot, and I'm just like, I'm gonna have words with you.
You're doing all right. You're doing all right. We can hear you.
Okay. One of my plans for next year is to highlight some books that have already been released, and I think we kind of discussed Drew and Born of Blood, but I want to actually go through and kind of do a review conversation and maybe pull out Miss Meow and kind of get that stuff out there, get some names back on let people be more aware of what you guys can do. And I got books from other creators as well, so that's going to become a weekly series. So looking forward to it. Also, I've been partnering with Drew and Breen. We are going to be recording next week. We're going to start a series as well, kind of looking back at some old school comics, which, hell yeah, more people need to check out older comics. And I've got my Marvelous Monday crew that's coming together, and I've got my graphic content crew that's coming together. So by January, we should have a lot of videos that are not live streams, that are more focused on content, not necessarily conversation like this. So good stuff in the pipeline, and I'm looking forward to it. And you can find me at @ByPopped on Twitter or @Joshua McDonald on Twitter. If you go to @ByPopped, it's strictly business. If you go to @Joshua L. McDonald, you'll probably see me getting a little sassy or trolling some people or posting videos of dogs. So take what you can get. All right, folks, thank you for coming on. Murphy, super happy to have you here. You're great on camera, by the way, so just throwing that out there.
Thank you.
You should come on camera more often. And then Drew
is always telling me that, and it's not that I don't want to. I just literally never had the energy. But starting officially next week, I'm all in on Krowd Control. So you're gonna have a hard time getting rid of me.
Hey, listen, I hope you come to me and go, I have a book we're promoting, let's do a stream, and I'll say let's do it. So
yeah, we could even, you want to talk about doing like a monthly, like let's dive into what's going on Kickstarter. Like I'm your girl.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we're gonna call it a night. Next week when I have my stream, I'm actually gonna have an outro video and not look like a freaking amateur. So it only takes 24 episodes, but it'll happen. So until then, enjoy your last awkward closeout, because this is the last one. The last one.
Most shows
don't find
their footing
like
until
slide
the
out
second
of
season.
you.
Of course.